What is going on, dudes and dudettes, gamers and gamettes, lads and lassies? Welcome back to another heroic episode of Games and Gamers. It is 2024, everybody. 2024 is already starting off as an awful year. It's already so bad. I miss the simple days when I just woke up and went to school. I now have a job. That's gonna be changing its schedule again, probably. Anyway, how was your Christmas, Danger? It's been a little while since we've talked to each other.
Yes, it has been. Christmas went great. Christmas was awesome. I got a fake Captain Falcon amiibo, which is hilarious. We bought it from an actual thing, but we got one thing is if you were none the wiser, you would totally fall for it. You probably would if you were none the wiser. But yeah, one thing is that it's fake. But one thing though that I got, which was not fake, is I got a laptop. And I've been working with Blender, and I've been trying to learn how to do that.
Oh, that's
learning
right.
how to make
We're making video games. That's right. I forgot.
I'm trying to learn models and stuff. And my brother, he is going to eventually. He didn't want to do it just yet. I think he's going to wait till next week.
Yep.
But I think he just wants the gear to be next, because that was the original plan. We weren't even going to do any of this until January. I did start early though. We're going to work towards trying to get the ability to make a video game.
Oh,
and we
boy.
do have an idea. We have an idea in mind for one. I'm working with Blender just to learn the tools. I don't even know everything with Blender. The learning hill is very steep for that. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to be working with Unreal Engine 5.
So are you telling me possibly by maybe the end of 2024 we could have a trailer? Maybe at least some tidbits of your game?
I cannot promise you
Games and Gamers official game?
I cannot promise you a thing because I don't even know how to make
All right,
a person.
never mind. I was also hinting that I'm working on a game too. I'm doing a solo game.
That is cool though. That is cool though if you're working on that. You definitely have a little bit of a head start compared to me and my brother. So you, in comparison, because I've never done this before, you have some experience.
I'm using RPG Maker. I'm not doing Blender. I'm doing like the basic.
Oh, okay.
I'm going basic and simple. And I'm also going to say this right now for people out there. I have a hell of a lot of ideas in my head. I've written books. Like, not even kidding. I've written actual books, and I'm actually going to be basing this game on one of my books that isn't released.
That is cool. I will say the first thing though is whenever me and my brother, we have an idea for a game and we do really love it. And let me just kind of give an idea. He had an idea, I had an idea, and this was for a long time, by the way, that we've had ideas. Mm-hmm. But we had one thing in mind: is we were definitely going to make a horror game for our first game. We've known this for a long time. We've said this for a long time. I'm not saying any spoilers.
No. If you want to, I have it off.
Oh no, I'm not saying spoilers. I'm not telling you what.
Good.
Because, I'm not. Don't worry.
Because Danger and I have a discussion. Whenever their game's done, they're gonna have me review it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna review it, and I'm gonna put it.
And this isn't a secret because this has been a thing for a long time that me and my brother have wanted to make one. So this isn't like a spoiler of we want to make a horror game. For years we've wanted to. We've just never had the ability to. Now we do. And so we do want to. But basically, one way the conversation went is I had an idea for it. Like, this was recent. I had an idea. He had an idea. I had an idea. He had an idea. We kind of just went off ideas we've had before, ideas we liked. And then we kind of just went our own way, just to do our own thing for a bit. Like, I remember I was just sitting there, and I was like, and I went to the room and I said, dude, here's an idea. And he thinks it would be really cool. Problem is it will be a lot more work for me. For him, it'll be some work. For me, it'll be so much work for it to get to work. It's gonna be a while, but hopefully it'll go well. I'm really hoping it does, but it's gonna be a while because I need to know how to use Blender. So I don't want to say, oh yeah, by the end of this year we'll have something ready. I don't even know how to make a single character yet. I don't know how to put a bone in a bone inside of a character. I don't know how to model them into.
It's a lot harder than people give it credit for. Back in my 8th grade year, we actually had 3D modeling in our computer class. And that's how I know how to do some of my stuff. I did a lot of stuff in there. I made little characters. I've made like one of my book characters before he was the book character. He was an imaginary character. I made him. He didn't look good, but I made him. And I've also made like golf courses, armor, swords. I've done a lot of stuff with it. Doing stuff like Blender. I think we used Autodesk is what we actually used. Was our 3D modeling thing. But modeling is actually kind of fun whenever you really get into it.
Oh yeah, even like I already sent you the picture. If you want, yeah, I totally don't mind if you use one of these. But I just made a little red donut.
Oh,
I made
that's right.
I made a.
That's literally a simple thing because
This simple thing that literally took me just 2 days to learn how to make it. And now I'm saying 2 days, but also it was only like 5 hours.
Okay, is
but
Blender not like because I've done modeling, but it was Autodesk. You could literally go start with a shape. Like, you know what? Here's natural shapes. Here's a donut. Here's a cube.
Yeah, you could. Sphere. So I did start with a donut
it took
shape.
You 5 hours.
Because I know nothing. I'm literally
the button to click. Let's put this in there.
Well, because I'm like watching a tutorial and I literally don't know anything. There's 50 every button. Here's the funny thing. Every single button on your keyboard does something.
Yes, I know. I'm just laughing because you just have to find the one button. I hit the right. It took me 5 hours. I hit the right button.
Hit one button, 5 hours per button. It's just God. Is it K? Is it?
You've seen Gravity Falls, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen most of it. There are a few episodes that I've missed.
There's an end-credit episode where Seuss is like going through his keyboard, and
he's
like, meow, boom, yeah, hit, and that's just what you have to do every time.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a thing that it took a while for me to figure out, dude. There's a lot to learn. There's so much I haven't even touched of it yet.
You
but
know what else there's a lot of?
What?
A
lot of games. Dude.
I've bought a few games since our last recording.
The last, I don't even want to say month, maybe 2 weeks, you've been buying a game.
Month.
After a game. After a game. After a game, after a game, after a game, after a game. It's like every 2 days I'm getting an update. Oh yeah, I got another game. Oh yeah, I got another game. Oh, I got 2 games. Another game. I'm in debt. I got another game.
Out there. You can't see
I took a load.
You know what? I'm gonna actually put us on the screen for a minute so they can see my stack of games.
Haven't we been? We've been on camera before.
Oh, we have. We even have an episode. Yeah. So right now, let me just show everybody my stack. My actual. It's about as big as my head. My stack of games, and we're gonna go through them. And I want Danger.
You know what? And I just want to show this. I just want to show that there's it's fake. It's a fake.
We're gonna start off with one of the best consoles ever made, PlayStation, and just go down the line of what I got. It's my media. Also, what's the media, Danger?
Blender. That's been what I've literally been just nothing but watching Blender videos and trying to learn it.
You know, that's fair. I haven't done much. I've played Dead Space and Batman, and I've been playing Kudoka. That's kind of it.
My life has been Batman
and Final Fantasy IX.
Blender and exercise, and that's been my life for the last few days.
But I also got to watch the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which I really liked.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard good things from it.
I finally saw the Scott Pilgrim movie. Never seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I've not seen, read, or heard of anything involving Scott Pilgrim besides my brother.
I also saw the movie 9 today.
9. Wait, is that the one about the alien?
No, that's the one with. These are the ones with the weird puppet-looking things. The Sack Boys.
Oh, 9! Okay.
9.
So 9.
Let's go through my list of games really quick, because I'm kind of really proud of what I've bought in the past month since we've recorded.
Okay.
Dino Crisis with a demo disc of Resident Evil 3.
That's cool.
Gently set that down. Parasite Eve. I like this.
Gently set that down.
Final Fantasy 7. So this is my personal copy of 7. My dad has a copy. It's my personal copy.
Gently set that down.
Yep. Parasite Eve 2. This came in today, actually.
Gently set that down.
Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which this is actually kind of dumb because it was supposed to come with a demo disc of Dino Crisis. And you want to know what demo disc came with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis? Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
That is hilarious.
And I asked the dude, hey, if you have it, can we trade it back? And he never responded. So I now have 2 demo discs. Danger, you want a demo disc of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis?
If you don't want it, sure.
I don't
bring it over when you.
I have one.
Sure, bring it over. You can come over. I'll hold on to it. And if you need another one, I'll just give it back.
Yep. So I got a demo disc in
Sure.
Resident Evil 3. I have
It'll-
3 iterations of Resident Evil 3.
I can just get a whatchamacallit. I get one of those things that like show off one disc. It's like a little stand that shows off a single disc. It's just for
This
that.
is my prized possession.
My prized possession, a demo disc of Resident Evil 3.
We'll gently set that down.
I have no console that can play it, but I have it.
No, your PSC doesn't work. That's right. I have Jack and Daxter, The Lost Frontier. I didn't know about this one.
Very gently. No! He yeeted it! He yeeted
Danger, we're
it!
still on screen, so yeah.
He yeeted it!
Danger,
Bring
that
it back!
that case was in such bad shape. I don't even know.
I saw. I saw
got
it from
that
here.
a
There's all
thrift
wrinkles
shop.
on
I
it.
drove about an hour today. My dad and I got up about 5 o'clock this morning and drove an hour to go pick that up at a thrift
Jeez.
shop. It's also I can also talk about other stuff I got too, because oh my god, I got so much stuff. I got Shadow Hearts when I went to visit family in Louisiana. I'm excited about this one. This is the sequel to Kudelka. I'm actually really excited for this one. I didn't have you ignore the price tag that says $120. I actually got it for only $90.
Nice. Very gently put that down.
I got Shadow Hearts from the New World, which is the last one. The people told me it was the second one. They didn't believe that this was the fourth one, but this is the fourth in the Shadow Hearts franchise. So I need to get 2 and 3. Yay, more money.
Very gently put that down.
So I now own Halo Combat Evolved for my Xbox,
Ooh, that's cool.
and alongside Halo, Halo 2 for the Xbox.
Nice.
I'm excited for both of these. And we also have a few other
Very
things I want to
gently
talk
put
about.
those-
They're not all here, and I have one other thing. This one right here. I just want to see your reaction because I laughed at it when I saw it. As soon as I
Okay.
unwrapped it, I laughed. I got myself a Sega CD today too.
Nice.
Like, oh, I'm excited about that ugly little thing. It turns on. I don't know if it works yet. Like, our connection cable to the TV is out because it didn't even work with my dad's Sega Genesis. So we have to order a new one to see if it works. All else fails, I have it. I have a Wii U. I don't think the Wii U works. I'm going to take it to my game store after my next paycheck and see if they can repair it.
Yeah, the Wii U's, like, even ours. Again, ours hasn't worked in like forever. It's been like 3 or 4 years
And for
since ours
listeners
worked.
out there, I know because we're going to have this on Spotify sometime this year. You don't see. I just happened to reach back and I grabbed 2 books.
Yep.
I grabbed the Final Fantasy X strategy guide, official strategy guide, and
You could probably make your own strategy guide with how many hours you have in that game.
not that I don't need either one of these, and not that I need this one any more than that one, but the official Kingdom Hearts strategy guide.
Yep, I saw that one.
And you know what's in here? 140 something stickers.
Oh wow,
Because you have
that's
to,
awesome.
I'm gonna spoil this in the game, but you have to find all 99 of the Dalmatians, which is all these stickers.
Yeah,
And then you have the Trinity things, little special things you unlock. I don't know if you remember them or not from when we played it for like a few hours. They're little like special things you do, like you jump, you like stomp on a thing. And I got all the stickers for those too.
nice.
Do I need
That's actually
either-
super cool. That's super cool that it has all those stickers. That's super cool. Is there a poster?
Map. Not a map. It has
Oh, it's
a
a map.
timeline. It has like a timeline thing that I can unfold. Holy cow!
Oh, did you just rip it up?
It's mine. I don't care. Yeah, it shows. Wow! It shows all the worlds.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
It actually is.
I love when books or journals do those where they have like things inside them. That is cool.
Yep. All right. Oh god. Oh god.
Oh,
Oh god.
you no, go back. Open it. Okay, man.
I'll just leave it
Yeah,
there.
figure that out later.
So, and this last one, it came in today. I saw it. I even made a TikTok about it. By the way, people, go check out our Games and Gamers TikTok. Let me tell you the name, because it's not just Games and Gamers TikTok.
That's something I can show. I was gonna show you, but I forgot about it.
Oh, anyway, all he does that is games.and.gamers.podcast on TikTok.
I have the Sonic one now, which is cool, but I also still have the Pac-Man one.
Okay.
These are cool. I just need I think there's how many other gaming ones? Mega Man. I need a bottle for the Mega. If they even sell those still,
So,
bottle for, or if they even made one.
and
Even I
so
don't
the
think they made one.
last one, the last thing I want to talk about, because I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell through this. People out there may not be able to, but I saw it and I was like, man, this isn't right. I bought Silent Hill 4.
What am I looking at?
This is the case of Silent Hill 4.
Okay.
Do you notice anything weird
Hmm.
about this case?
How much money would that go for?
No, Danger, it's not even that. Because you can't tell very well. You can tell the dude because it's so blurry. This dude, whoever I got it from, I love the thank the guy who got it for me. But he took the picture offline, printed it, two-sided it, and shoved it in there because you can see the uneven cut right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
The game's in here. Don't worry,
Yeah.
the game's in here.
He just wanted to make it. He didn't want to pull it like a GameStop or something where it's just the name printed, like it's just the name typed in on a printed thing.
Printed on both sides.
I mean, yeah, but I mean it's like where they literally take like their things, they just type the name, and so like the only way you know it's the game is because it's just like GameStop something, and that's like the name and like just text.
Yep,
So he wanted to actually, which I will say, props to him for trying to put in work
that's not what I'm saying. It's just like,
oh, I know, I'm aware.
At how fake it actually looks.
Yeah, but I mean, he did try to make it look like a. No, so I mean, hey, at least you now know which game it is by looking at the front.
Man, if I look at it from any direction, what would have been even better if he had Silent Hill just written here?
Yeah,
too.
you just like taped it
look
there.
at it's anywhere you look at it. Just
That's hilarious.
Man, I wonder what game. I'm excited I got this though because we got to play. I've never actually played Silent Hill 4, and outside of Silent Hill, which Danger, you should be proud of me. I passed up Silent Hill.
The first one?
Yep. I got Shadow Hearts instead.
Good.
I'm gonna own Silent Hill because once I own Silent
Hill, I'm
Hill,
aware. You're gonna get all of them.
I will own every game in the franchise except for the dungeon crawler one that came out 2012. Anyway, games. I bought a lot of games.
A lot of games.
Yep, games and gamers. 2024, hell of a year for Hayden.
Okay, so one thing is I'm gonna say real quick, I love the Batman Arkham trilogy.
Oh yeah.
The reason I say the trilogy.
Batman Arkham Asylum. We played Batman Arkham Asylum. I don't know if either one of us actually.
Neither one of us. Here's the thing. Neither one of us has said this. It's on the thing, and I mean, you can just put. You just literally, if you want to, you could put a timestamp of when we actually start. But one thing is yeah, it's on the thumbnail, dude. It's on the thumbnail. It's in the room.
I bet you could do that better than I. I don't know how to do that. You could do that and just have like small talk, game.
Yeah, we can. I'll figure it out if I can. I do want to figure out how much there is to the YouTube Studio thing that you can do, because I haven't messed with everything available there. But also, it's not too much to mess with.
Back whenever I was younger and I started doing YouTube on the KH Hauser, there was actually a bit of stuff you could do on there, like you'd splice videos together, cut out, and it's like very basic editing, but it's still editing.
It's still editing, yeah. So I totally want to actually see what I can do with it, so I can take. So last bit of small talk for the channel. One thing is that Hayden has basically. It's Hayden's channel. I'm the co-host to it. Hayden has literally put way more money into this than I have, by a large amount, literally.
Yep. Come 2024, it'll be the other way around. Danger's going to support it for the year.
Hopefully.
I'll be able to save money. Danger's going to put...
I'm going to go... dude, I'm going to go insane, and we can talk about it later, but I'm going to go insane about something. But yeah, so one thing is I haven't really... Like, the only thing that I have done is like make kind of the room, play the game, show up, have my pretty much opposite, not opposite completely, but we agree on many different, like we disagree on many things, not like an argument disagreement, but we do disagree on a lot of different things involving for games, which is what makes the channel fun. But all I do is bring to the table is I kind of edit the room and I make the whenever all I do is edit the room and I make the channel look cool, like that's kind of all I do, and I give my opinion. That's kind of it. So one thing I did is stepping forward. I was like, hey, what if I took over the channel sort of department to make the channel look like it is now? Beforehand, like I very like if anyone else joins, which by the way, thank you to anyone who listens or likes and any of that, because a lot of people have been joining recently, and so I would just like to say thank you. But one thing is like, let me have sort of a job. Let me do something. You know what? Let me make the channel look better, because the descriptions were kind of just a small description and a whole lot of hashtags, and the thumbnails were kind of just pictures from the game. I didn't run that. That was Hayden just kind of throwing stuff together, and I was looking at it, I was thinking, hey, why don't I go ahead and make us a thumbnail format like we have a recording format, and let me kind of work on the descriptions to try to make them look a little better. So I now took that on my part. That way I'm actually doing something more than just I edit the room and I show up. That's all I do. So I went ahead and I was like, okay, so now we're moving forward. I'm able to do more with the channel. And I plan on doing better, so I want to learn better for writing descriptions. I want to learn better of how to make thumbnails and I want to get better at doing my part on the channel, so it is our channel, not Hayden's doing all the work and all I do is show up. It's our channel, so I want to do more, or else guess what? I'm doing nothing but bringing my opinion to the table. So I'm trying to do more. So that is the plan. The plan is for me to do more.
I have
you
want
to say something?
One, because I forgot. It wasn't in my pile. I bought Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation.
Nice. Yep, I saw that.
And I have a rant.
Okay. Do you want to rant now or later?
I mean, I have this in hand, so we're gonna rant about this now.
Okay, if you want to rant now, cool. Okay, that's fine. But let's get everything out now so we can continue to the channel. I will say one thing. Actually, no. Let's let you go first. When we go to Batman, it's just Batman. Oh, yeah, it's all Batman.
We're actually on a decent schedule. We're not even 30 minutes in yet.
Yeah, and again, this game, I will say real quick, this game is, when you go down to the story, the base story, the game's not that long at all.
So, I buy video games. People out there, I buy video games. Danger. I don't know if you know this, but I buy video games. I've bought a game.
Yep.
I bought it. No, I don't think you understand, Danger. I buy video games. So, I bought Resident Evil 2 on eBay. It's so pristine. It was so wrapped. I unwrapped it, but it was so pristine. It's not that kind of wrapped, but it was so pristine, like it's never been played. And one of the things on here is win a part in the movie or other great prizes. I want to bitch because Danger and I did this once. And, I did this once after I got Dino Crisis, because you have the Capcom helpline that you can call that is not on this disc. It is on this disc. The Capcom hint line is exactly what it's called. You call the number that's on here, it's discontinued. I want to know what the hell the hint line was. Do you call and some random person's like, hey, this is Jim. You call the Capcom helpline. How can I help you? Oh, I'm in Dino Crisis. I need to figure out how to get past the T-Rex in Dr. Lingard's room. Oh, well, you just gotta go hit this here button. Oh, hey, it worked. Thank you. You're welcome. Have a nice day. And that's all the hint line was. I don't know if that's what it was. I wish there was something still live on it. And it's like, hey, we apologize, but the Capcom helpline no longer is in service. Please use the internet. Or something like that. Because if I call it right now, you know what? I'm not going to do it now. I'm probably going to edit it in me calling it and just what's actually going to happen. I'm just genuinely so upset that stuff like that, all my discs have the Capcom hint line. I don't even know if the numbers are different. They could be different. That'd be even better. That'd make me bitch even more. No, they're the same.
You want to know something that would be...
They're different numbers!
Do you want to know something that would be super cool? One thing is right, for a helpline, back in the day, it made sense. Here's the thing: the internet exists now. No, there is literally so I know. I'm just trying to get my point across real quick. The internet exists now. There's no reason for those to exist, for those to actually exist. You know what would make them fun though, for them to still exist? If the team was being ran by like voice actors, not the actual actors, but for people who can do impressions of the video game characters and actually knew about the game. They knew about like all they need to know. What they'll get paid for to do is to know about the game, like basically be putting on a show. It's what it would be. They know about the game, they can do the impression of their characters, and they actually know about like the game. And if they need to, they have sort of a computer or something in front of them to tell them anything they may need to know. But it would be super cool if like you could call like a health thing. So let's say they did it now with another Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
You call and then like the voice, like a not the voice actor, but a voice actor of like Leon answers or something, right? Or let's say they finally release a new Mega Man game. Let's say they're never going to. But then like Mega Man or Dr. Light or like someone answers to help with that depending on what game. And the different numbers could be the different games. It's just kind of a show to put on. Like people would call just for the show, but then these people would actually get paid like per call and stuff.
I don't think you understand how excited I was to actually call one of these numbers. And I was imagining like it's an old landline that's in the back. Like I think as far as I know, Capcom still is like a company. I don't know if they do game stuff, but it's a phone line that's in like an empty room that's just so covered in dust. That's we don't go touch that room. That's a relic, and you just hear a bring bring come from the room. What the fuck is that? There's a phone in there? You go in there, you blow the dust, and it's like, oh, this is Jim's help desk. I'm sad they discontinued it. It makes sense, but I wish they would have at least like, hey, we're sorry. This is no longer in service.
There's just an automated message.
Yeah, as opposed to, sorry, this number is no longer in service. Bye now.
They had like a dude that and then again would be the thing of like the voice acting thing. Then it would be the voice, like a voice, if not the voice actor, just like for the game, just like sorry it doesn't answer or something or whatnot.
And then I was at work and I talked about this. I could win a part in the movie, and they didn't realize that this game came out in the 90s.
Oh, they thought I was like new.
Yeah, I was.
You could be that new Resident Evil movie coming out in like 3 weeks. It's like
the guy that recommended Sea of Stars. So I was telling him and his cousin about it, and they are like, "Bro, what are the odds?" And I went to work the next day. Hayden, explain the movie thing to us, guys. This game came out in the 90s. Do you really think? Hey, let me just call this number or send in my letter through this. It was a number I tried to call on here. That I was
Sea of Stars guy.
It was. Yep. It's a shame, and you can't
even. Stars.
And you can't. It even has information on this product's rating. So if you wanted to, say, hey, here's why it's rated like this specifically, you can't even call that. That's another number. That's another thing. I wish that one was automated and still on there, but no. Technology exists.
Yeah.
I wish I was around the helplines early. Would have loved this. Some random ass dude sitting at home watching fucking what was out in the 90s.
There's a lot of stuff out in the 90s.
Johnny Bravo or Scooby Doo.
Johnny Bravo.
Scooby Doo or Johnny Bravo, or he's watching fucking the Alien movies. Oh, there's another one. It's like this is the original Discord mods. Oh, there's another one. How can I help you? All right, you go here. Thank you for calling Capcom Helpline.
So funny.
Danger, whenever you get the animating, you need to just animate this whole little skit. The Capcom.
That is one cool thing with Blender, dude.
I know.
Like, even if I figure that out, I can animate. There's so much, like, it's just a hobby right now, but it is a hobby that has so much potential to make money. Yep. There's a lot that you can do. Yep, so I'm doing it to be busy. The dream would be all of a sudden
Games and Gamers have animations.
That would be sick if I could do that. And I just take funny moments and dude, if I could make us models of us, if I could actually make models of our like a Danger X model, but has my like human looking head on it, and then I make you a model of like your character with like unless the thing happens. I don't know if you talked about it yet on here. I don't remember if you talked about it here yet or not. What you're wanting to do, but then have just you. Okay, just have your character, and like that'd be cool.
Me,
but I
need my character.
Yeah, I need to get back on that. I need to get back to doing your
All
thing.
right,
I
but
put it aside. I haven't touched it yet.
anyway, that's my rant. That's my beginning of the year rant. Probably I don't remember if I ranted in the game of the year episode, but my actual first rant of the year is I'm bitching that helplines are no longer a thing because I got so and I'm super disappointed in them.
But yeah, it would have been cool if they continued or they had like a voice message, like a themed voice message to why we can't answer anymore. That would have been cool. Just like like hear Leon, I'm just using Leon as an example because it's one of the recent Resident Evils, the one that came out. So it's just like if he answers, he's like sorry, can't answer the phone. Like you just hear bang bang and like hear zombies in the background. You just hear shooting, or it's like
It's Brad.
why did I forget her name? Ashley? Why did I forget her name?
Ashley
Is it Ash?
4?
Ashley, okay, it is. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Ashley answers the phone, and just Leon's like, "Why'd you pick up the phone?" He's shooting like, the zombies in the background. It's like, "Hi, sorry, we can't answer the phone right now. This line is probably gonna be down for good. Just what do you do? Get off the phone! Come, on. What are you? Just something."
Even better. Well, this is before then, but it's like one of the.
Oh, you mean yeah?
Brad Vickers. I'm spoiling it. He's a character who dies in 3, and he's like, "I'm not gonna make it. Please continue on and save Jill."
I'm not gonna make it, and neither does this phone line. But hey, you're gonna make it, and I need you to...
Brad, no! Not the phone
so
line,
funny.
no!
That's so funny.
All right, do we have any other thing else to bitch about, or can we bitch about
I can't. I don't know. Literally, how I've been in my life has been Blender, Batman, and exercise. But I mean, I'm not gonna update every time I exercise because I'm making it a normal thing now.
All right.
But Blender, next time we record, I should have an update for Blender, hopefully.
I have an air fryer. Okay, to the game.
An air fryer?
Yeah, I got an air fryer that has a dehydrator function. I'm going to start making my own beef jerky.
Ooh, that actually sounds super cool.
I got Carolina Reaper hot sauce downstairs. I'm going to make some spicy.
One thing is I love this... Hayden is not the biggest superhero guy. I am. I'm
going to correct you. I like superheroes. But when they are idiots like Batman, like Spider-Man, like Green Lantern, I don't know much about Green Lantern, but heroes that refuse to kill their villains, they are shitty heroes. 110%, they are the shittiest heroes. They have more blood on their hands than the villains do. I do not care.
Let the controversy begin. Let it begin. This is where it starts.
I will say it. I have said this for maybe a year now, maybe 2, at least to Danger. I've said this for a while. But
yeah, I don't know how many times I feel like you've mentioned it during the Spider-Man episode. Maybe you didn't.
I probably have, and more than likely did because I said
You'll probably mention it any time we play a superhero game that does this.
Yep.
Probably every time, which is fine. That's just the general basis, and I mean to a degree, yeah. But the way I think. We're getting off topic.
Okay,
Batman. Okay, so I love the Batman trilogy. The Batman trilogy is awesome. Now I know there's another game. I know there's the Batman Begins, but if I mention the Batman trilogy, it is Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. They sold a trilogy, and it's those 3 games. That is the Arkham trilogy. Arkham Begins is a game, and Arkham Knights is a game. Which, by the way, Arkham Knights, it's a spin-off. I thought Arkham Knights was an official next one. It's not. It's not an official continuation. It's more of like a what if.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought Arkham Knights was the next game. It's not. Which I thought it was. I literally thought it was. I looked it up and I was given information, and it's not. It is a spin-off. But yeah. So the first game of the trilogy, which I do want us to eventually talk about all 3 of these, not within a small period. It's definitely going to be a while. Maybe, who knows, maybe next year of this. But the first game of the trilogy is Batman Arkham Asylum. And boy, oh boy, do I love this game. I played this game forever ago, and I loved it a lot. This game is very fun. This game is very informative. This game rewards you for looking. This game rewards you for looking around and completing more of the game. This game rewards you very much so. And so, not just gameplay wise, but if you were it's the same scenario with my argument for Spider-Man. If you don't like Batman, you'll still enjoy this game. But if you're a Batman fan, you're going to really enjoy this game. And it's my same argument with Spider-Man. Spider-Man It was a good game. It was a fun game. But if you're a Spider-Man fan, you are going to really enjoy it. And this game very much plays on the same thing as that. One thing that is very interesting that I did not know about Batman Arkham Asylum is that Batman Arkham Asylum, which this is obvious, was made by Rocksteady. What I didn't know is that this was the first game for Rocksteady that made them huge. Whenever they first started with this game, they only had 40 people, and by the time they were finished, they had 60. You could literally, if you wanted to for the funny, say that this was an indie game, if you wanted to for the funny. One thing that was very interesting, though, that I did not know, is the reason this game was made is because EA was working on a Batman game. It was made by the same people that made Star Wars Battlefront, and what was the other one? It was the same Mercenaries, Star Wars Battlefront and Mercenaries, and it was going to be a open world Dark Knight type game. It was going to be based off of the Dark Knight film, and they lost. Well, let me read it. Yeah, just double checking. Over $100 million lost in making this. And so, literally, after losing, EA not getting the game done in time, it was nowhere near done. They weren't going to get it complete. This open world Dark Knight game, which I think would have been cool, but I'm glad the way the events turned out happened, because then they went ahead and said, we literally have nothing else to lose. Let's go ahead and give this to a tiny team that will make Arkham Asylum. Yeah, and literally, when Arkham Asylum was in development, yeah, Rocksteady had a mere 40 employees, and by the time it get wrapped up, they had 60. That's insane. And also another fun fact is one of the guys that worked on the cape, they spent 2 years. A single guy spent 2 years making the cape because of all the programming that went into it. The programming, the looks, the sound effects, that was pretty insane. I think that is absolutely hilarious. I think that's probably one of my favorite facts about this is that literally just 2 years for the cape alone. It's really cool. I love hearing about game development, and I've never even developed a game. Now I am, and so I even understand even more so. But yeah, so Arkham Asylum is the first game of the trilogy, and we start off with a very cool cutscene. Right off the bat, we immediately start with sort of a showing. We get sort of a view of the sky, a view of Gotham, a view of the asylum, and then we see, or actually no, beforehand, we see the Batmobile driving. The Batmobile is driving towards the Blackgate prison, towards Arkham Asylum. Inside, we see the Joker has been captured, and they're starting to take him away. Jim Gordon even says, all right, we have it, we'll take it from here. Batman is extremely suspicious of what's going on because it's been way too easy. Joker always typically puts up a show, and now he's not. And this is one of those things, if you're a Batman fan, you already know, oh yeah, something's going down. Because the Joker, he never makes it easy. And so he made it way too easy. He has something planned. They start taking him in. We get a little bit of story. We get conversations. We basically kind of see around the map a bit, around the beginning of the area, which I don't think we even come back to this area. This area is literally locked to a cutscene. Yeah. We don't ever come back to this start of the area. But we continue forward. We get to see some of the characters. We meet Quincy Sharp. We get to meet Commissioner Gordon. We get to see the Joker. We get to see a few inmates as they escort him forward. They eventually finally get him to the point to where they're taking him inside of the cell. Once again, Batman is suspicious of what's going on, and he doesn't like it at all. Joker eventually, as he gets to a point, breaks from the guard, and he escapes into the asylum. Which is weird. He escaped into the asylum? Yes, because then we find out Harley Quinn took over the asylum. And it turns out they had this planned all along. For some reason, Joker broke into the asylum and they took control over it, and we don't know why. Joker has a plan and he's locked himself up. However, the Joker has now taken the cells to be his own. Afterwards, Batman goes ahead, heads in, and chases after them to try to find out where the Joker went and starts tracking him. Also, it's very clearly a trap, as Commissioner Gordon states, because the Joker is allowing him to enter. Batman already clearly knows it is a trap. Found the one guard that survived, Eddie Burlow. Yeah, who points into the lower corridor. Batman reaches the patient pacification chamber, which is the first character we get to meet that is it's Batman's rogue gallery. I believe he's categorized as such, But yeah, one of Batman's rogue gallery is Victor Zsasz. Victor Zsasz is a very creepy character. Very creepy character, and one thing that I love about this game is for all of the rogue gallery you do see in game, they have tapes. They have like recording tapes that you can collect for each character. Dude, it is amazing. One of the things I tell you, this game rewards you for collecting everything. If you collect all the tapes, you get a story over about a week period, and it is very creepy. Victor Zsasz is very terrifying and a scary character, and it kind of messes you up. He has the guard. Oh, the guard has a name. He has the guard Mike, and it will kill him if he sees Batman get close to him at all. You meet the what's the doctor's name? I don't see it here, and I don't have it. But you end up meeting one of the doctors, which is mentioned a few times. I don't remember her name, but she's mentioned multiple times in the game through the tapes. I wish I had that name. But yeah, she is a character that is actually used a lot inside of the game, but it again is through the voice tapes, which is super cool, dude. I love those. What you have to do with
it was fun.
What you have to
It was fun.
Go ahead.
It was fun learning a little bit about all the villains and stuff, like how they're, you have like Harley, Ivy, Croc, all these characters. You got to hear a little bit adding to them was fun to do.
Just Zsasz, Scarecrow, and there's even information for characters you probably never heard of until this game.
Zsasz,
if you found enough, yeah, Zsasz, yeah, you probably never heard of Zsasz until this game. There's characters in here. There is one character in here that I did not know about. There's one, and it was a character. It was a character named Humpty Dumpty. It is one thing is there's a bunch of characters based off of like fairy tales and stuff. There's a villain based off Humpty Dumpty. He's a very creepy character, and I did not know about him until this game. And he's literally, out of all the characters in here, he was the only character I knew nothing about. Humpty Dumpty. I'll explain it later once we get to like the things you can find.
I have seen him.
I've probably seen him before, but I've never gone out of my way to know about him.
That weird 3D Batman show, like Beware the Batman or whatever.
Oh yeah, Beware. Yeah. But I've probably seen it before, but I never knew about him. And this game, yeah, there's a lot of cool things. One thing I love about this game.
People together. Okay.
Yep. He literally, what he did beforehand is he kind of took toys apart and put them back together. Then he took toys apart and put it back together. Then he took toys and then he went to the city and he took the city apart, put it back together. Then his grandma was sick. He tried to fix her. He took her apart and then he put her back together.
Makes sense.
Pretty creepy. Pretty horrifying. One cool thing, I will say, I'm kind of slowing down the continuation process. I literally can say this. If you knew nothing about Batman, I feel like, but you play video games, I feel like I could easily give you this video game, say try to 80% this game if you can. Or let's say not even 70%. Try to 70% this game. And it will give you so much information about Batman, like the series, the IP Batman. It will give you a lot. And like the characters in this game are represented well to how they are mostly around like things like Batman, Joker, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, Bane. The way these characters are represented, it's pretty universal. The one I would say is as iffy as Bane, but the way Bane is, that's like the second variation of him. Typically, Bane is also represented as just a deep voiced like killer character, like a more intelligent character, when the Bane in this variation was just like yelling Spanish, "I'ma get you." Like that's what he was in this game. It's just very angry, very yes, go getting. And he has like two variations, so it depends. But still a universally variation. So I love this game. You had a little corridor, and then you learned of how to break through vents. I believe it was this point that you learned of how to get through vents and how you can dive. One thing is this game is very it's very cool how they introduce mechanics of the game. And then all of a sudden, Batman receives a message from Harley Quinn, who has taken Quincy Sharp, the warden, hostage. Although Quinn is convinced that Batman is trapped in the patient pacification, trapping him with Zsasz, Batman escapes through the processing corridor, moving into the decontamination area. Yeah, several are trapped in the room filled with toxin, which, By the way, the toxin, poisonous. Anytime you see the room filled with it, they're all dead.
Yeah, you know what?
There's so much death in this game. It is.
I want to bitch about that poison because it's.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to let's try to get a little bit done, and then we can go back because dude. There's literally not a lot. Let's continue to go forward.
All right, fine.
Because I am gonna. Let's just continue forward a little bit, and then I'll give it to you. After cleaning the room, which I believe you had to activate the fans, so you have to hit him with batarangs. Cleaning the rooms, Batman proceeds to the decontamination area and follows several green arrows along the floor, literally just spray painting them to a room. They go to a room, the secure treatment transfer room, where he's attacked by a giant mutated Blackgate prisoner. Joker goes ahead and lets him loose, and we have no idea why this guy looks like this. This is not one of his rogues. This is not something that we've seen. This guy is here, and we have no idea how he got like this. After a short battle, the prisoner dies. He dies from the thing inside of him. His body is not able to contain it. He was not strong enough. For this, you need strong enough people. From what Joker is saying. Joker's saying you need someone strong enough, and something went wrong. So clearly, Joker has had this plan for a while. He broke into Arkham for some reason. Then we see he got a guy that is mutated, and he says it wasn't strong enough. They need stronger people to be able to pull it off. So this guy now has something to mutate people. And we have no idea why. The Joker escapes on top of a mobile security cell and broadcasts a message to Arkham. One thing is Joker, by the way, literally at the very beginning of the game, Joker stands on top of it, and he's like, he dodges the first batarang, but he's like, you know what? I'll give you this one for free. Go ahead and hit me with the batarang. Hit me with the batarang, it'll all end here. Like, end of the show. It's over. You win. Batman cannot bring himself to do it. He tried to hit him with a batarang before. He did try to hit him. But whenever Joker literally said, do it, take my life, go for it, Batman wasn't able to do it in that moment. So honestly, if the Joker didn't dodge it, the Joker, he dodged it because Batman was trying to get him, trying to stop him, trying to defeat him, regardless of what would happen. But Joker knew if he pushed the opportunity forward, hey, do it, kill me, he couldn't have done it. He wasn't able to do it. And he knew about the little facade between him and Batman. Which there's a very interesting theory about the Batman that people have, which I feel like is okay for an explanation as to why. It has been used before as an explanation. But yeah, so one broadcast message to Batman from a nearby guard telling that Frank Bowles, a member of the security team assigned to escort Joker to his cell, is actually on the side to capture Gordon. Frank Bowles is already a character. I don't remember how many times I've seen Frank Bowles, but typically Frank Bowles is represented in many different ways, if I'm correct. But in this variation, he is a cop who's already had so many problems, and he's bad. He's bad. He's already had so many problems. Many people didn't like him. And now he's finally actually turned over and showed his true self. But yeah, the Joker warns that if Batman is caught following him, then Gordon will die. So now the Batman has to follow him without getting caught in a clear sense. Using a scanner in his cowl, which we know is the detective mode, which, by the way, one thing is you use the detective mode a lot. One thing that I kind of wish for the game is you can activate detective mode, but it doesn't force everything to go like blue. Like or blue and for everyone to be skeletons. Part of me wishes you can kind of choose to where it's all where it's all the special thing, to where it's the gas or like the tracker or to the person. I wish you could kind of choose, because I actually went out of my way to use detective mode, scan the area, then turn it off, because I like seeing the visuals of the game. Yeah. The problem is you could just play the whole game in detective mode, but then you're missing out on so many cutscenes and animations and the look of the game, which the map looks amazing. It looks great. But if you're in detective mode the whole time, you don't really get to see it. So I actually went out of my way to keep canceling detective mode, and I wish there's a way you could categorize it. Everything, map, gas, people.
Yeah, like the specifics. I wish I did have something like that. I really didn't use detective mode unless the game was like, hey, you need to use it.
Yeah. One thing is I ended up using it way more than I should have because I was trying to find every secret. And so I would, in acts of battle and whatnot, I would use it, scan the area, kind of keep a mentality. If I need a reminder, then activate it. But I try to keep it off as much as I could. And I ended up using a lot. Eventually, we got to the point of me trying to find the Riddler trophies. Because I did actually Last time I played it forever ago, I got like 60 something percent, and now I got like 77, 78, 79 on this run. So I literally went on my way to try to find everything I could. But he follows alcoholic vapor trails left by Bowles through the transfer loop. As he nears the elevator to the upper level, the security guard Henry Smith Harley Quinn appears and blows up the elevator cable, hoping to trap the Batman on the lower floor. But he manages to scale the surrounding support structures, and after a brief encounter with several pipe-wielding convicts, there was a lot of people just kind of going up the elevator to keep him from approaching. He approaches the cell block transfer where he encounters the first goons carrying firearms. The firearms in this game can get you. Like, when there's one or two people, it's whatever. Whenever you're in a room full of people, you gotta be careful. This game, like, forces you to go stealth in like a bunch of situations, which you could just kind of go in and get everyone. I will say, this game, one thing that I will agree with you on with is in Spider-Man, you don't have to go stealthy. This game, there's a bunch of scenarios where if you don't, you die.
Yeah.
This game this game is more punishing. You could do it. Like, let's say you just go health upgrades all the way. You could survive. You could be fine. But this game, in comparison, is much more punishing than Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man has the literal, like, perfect dodge. Everything slows down. Like everything slows down. You have a spider sense. The pistol, like, it goes from, like, blue to red. You have all that. With the guys aim at you and they shoot. And you can't perfectly predict it because they could kind of move out of wonky, like in a wonky rate, and there's multiple people with guns, so they could just fire. Like with Spider-Man, it's more like organized, and there's a bunch of signals.
I disagree with that because in Batman they never I never ran into a room where there was I want to say maybe there were 5 in a room was the most I ever ran into.
6. There's 6 or 7 in the room, and it was in the lower area where you're turning off the pumps. So later in the game where you're turning off the 3 pumps, I know. One of the rooms has like 6 people with guns, 6 or 7 people with guns.
I want to say it's 6. You're probably right on 6. I want to say
it's like 6. It's like 6 or 7 people with guns. Everyone in that room had a gun.
Okay, but I want to say outside, but none of them are really a punishing thing because this game you can really easily.
It can punish you if you're just jumping in combat. Like if you were in no way stealth, run in combat, you're gonna get caught. You have to take them out when they're separate, or sneak up on them. And I'm saying, and I'm not saying it's hard. I'm not saying it's super hard. But I'm saying in comparison to Spider-Man, this game punishes you if you get caught.
Doing that, yeah, but I'm about to say the combat isn't that bad because there were a lot of times I would run in because I played it. I do the restart sometimes. I died maybe once in the game, twice at most, not counting. Go ahead. Getting caught by Scarecrow, I died. Maybe
you don't count that. Yeah,
but it wasn't by the gunman, unless there was one that I just was not able to get to in time. Because this game,
I never died to the gunman.
You can stun in the game by throwing a batarang. You throw a batarang, you stun them, you can go beat them up. And if you get them in a group, you can throw like boop, 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 batarang. That's how I dealt with it. Was I'd gotta keep them together. Mm-hmm. I'd batarang and then, or I just flash my cape all over them. So I wouldn't call this one. I wouldn't say that they. I don't know.
I'm just saying it's more. I'm not saying it's super hard. I'm just saying in comparison, I think guns are more punishing.
You were saying stealth is much.
It does It does force you to be a little more stealthy in this a bit.
That's why, and it has some moments, but outside of it, I wouldn't say you have to, because I did stealth moments. I did I fuck you on Batman moments. And
the only one that I can think of for Spider, I know we're kind of getting off topic, but for Spider-Man is the museum, where Spider-Man has to sneak around to get because if you get caught, then they're gonna start firing on the building. But I feel like the museum is the only one that I can really think of that was big involving like stealth.
And there's the penthouse place with the doctor.
Yeah. Coming on a lower level. You take henchmen down by... Yeah, this is why I brought it up. Guns and breaking down by stealth before moving to the entrance. Armed with riot guns. Oh, yeah. See to the far side of the room to the upper ladder. Raised hallway, which is the Dark Knight. Oh, yeah. So this is the room. This is where you find a massive room full of more people with guns. And you saw the trail for Frank Bowles, and you eventually find him, and he is dead. He is dead. He has face paint on, and he has clearly got some of the laughing gas, and he's gone. And a lot of the officers you run into are very happy about it. Like, good, like we're good riddance with him. He was a good anyway. But yeah, he's strapped to a stretcher near the exit of the intensive treatment, having been double-crossed by Joker. Yep, he outlived his usefulness. But as you can tell your story if you want to in a second. But after we see Frank Bowles, my favorite thing happens in the game, to where the Riddler, he scrambles he intercepts Batman's transmission system while he's trying to contact Oracle, and he starts tasking him with riddles. After solving the Riddler, he has to solve the puzzle. And do you want to go ahead and explain your little story about? You can explain your thing. I'm gonna be gone for like a second. You can explain your thing, but I feel like this is the perfect time.
I want to preface this. I was drunk.
You were drunk and you have the clip, but you can take over. And if I'm still gone, then you can do your rants of anything from beforehand. So yeah. This is where I wanted to get to. So you have your own bit and rant,
right,
and I'll be
all right.
I
didn't want to rant without you here.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So you want to continue right now?
All right. So now that Danger's back, I was talking very briefly on the Quincy Sharp on the wall thing.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's literally when you go to him, when you turn around, it is right there with a light shining on it.
No, I know.
It's so
but I went back and watched it, and it was like as soon as I turned, the pillar was there. So I'm just walking through because it's turned. There's the pillar. But yeah, so I was drunk. I didn't see him. I'm running around the room like, I can't find it. I can't find it.
He was drunk, but it was still so funny.
Riddler got pissed.
And then just Riddler getting onto you, just like
more pissed.
Like reflection, Sharp, picture on the wall. It was like something like that. Yep. So funny.
But we talked about the poison earlier. I want to gripe about the poison because Batman, for being the man of contingencies, is the biggest bitch I've ever seen. So, poison.
Go on.
He knows there's going to be... I'm sure he knows at this point, oh man, there's poison in this place. I should have an apparatus on me just in case I walk into an area full of poison. He doesn't. He's always prepared, and he's never prepared. Like, oh man, there's a hole and there's a cliff in front of me. Oh, I can't get over there. I guess I gotta come back later. And then the poison, like actually, this one beside me bitching is a game thing. Whereas if you gently, so much as like a hair on Batman's head touches poison, he can't go anywhere. Because it was one of the parts, I want to say it was later on in the game. I was trying to sneak around. I saw something. I saw a graphical error I was trying to get to, but I couldn't get to it because it was like stair steps. It's nearing the end of the game with Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I assume so. There's like the beginning with Joker and later with Ivy, so I assumed it was later with Ivy.
Yeah, it was later with Ivy. I saw a graphical error. One of the plants had not loaded in right, and it was that purple and black texture. I wanted to get to it, but I couldn't see it from the right angle. So I tried to sneak under a root. I was sneaking under a root at these stairs. It was like hugging as tight to the wall as possible. I guess I take maybe an inch. Literally Batman just bobs his head into the poison. He's like, poison.
It's hilarious because I was having trouble. I know we're way at the end of the game. Let's talk about it real quick. But I literally was stuck to leave the room because there's the area you need to go to, but there's no way to just jump down there. You have to kind of glide in, and my foot would barely touch it. And it's like you're right there.
Yeah, I know. I will Batman is such a bitch.
One thing that could so easily be fixed is if you put on just a mouth mask.
An apparatus. He has his
and you would have been cool. Belt. Have it, but also be cool. Don't always have it on. But if he had it to where it opened up and it perfectly fits the hole in his mask, it perfectly fits there. And heck, make it to where he has a you would have been cool. Also, to protect his eyes, he has things that go down their white visors, so to give that Batman look, the glowing eyes. It would have been but they're actually white, so it's you could. like the mouth covered and the eyes are white, and so if he's in the shadow, just to kind of give it a cool scene, like he just like you see the glowing eyes and he walks out of the room, like that just would have been cool, like an intimidation thing.
But yeah,
Oh, that just
the point.
just a little thing that would have been cool. I will say I think it's cool that the eyes turn all white whenever you're in detective mode. There's at least that. I think that's cool. It's a very little feature that I think is super cool.
But yeah, no, just the fact that if Batman's small toe grazed any fraction of poison, he becomes useless. Come on, Batman. Be better. This is why you're an awful superhero. All right.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I actually have it. I've thought about how to fix like Batman, like small things I think would have been perfect. We've actually talked about it a lot on my channel. Yeah, he leaves the intensive treatment to find Gordon. As now like Gordon's been taken by Harley Quinn from earlier. They finding his way towards Arkham East, where he discovers the Batmobile is being attacked by Harley Quinn's henchmen. At first, I think it says actually that Harley Quinn was the one like attacking, like he thought it was Harley Quinn, and they got to it, and the henchmen were there. And so he was assuming that. Oh yeah, I remember. He assumed that Harley Quinn was trying to get the Batmobile, and to not wanting Gordon to be hurt, he went ahead and disabled. He actually asked Oracle to go ahead and disable the Batmobile's defense system, because guess what? Like if they tried to take the Batmobile and they got hurt doing so, they might hurt Gordon because of it. You know, just like, oh well, I got hurt, and I gotta take it out on someone. So he went ahead and disabled the automatic defense system, and so a bunch of thugs were beating up the Batmobile when he got there. Many guards have been lured to the area by a bunch of guards ended up being trapped, and so they weren't able to continue moving forward. I think it was like even there was like an ambulance. I think this is the part where you get to. There's entered a small area where discovers a wrecked ambulance. Yeah, they were a security guard was behind it when there was a bunch of thugs. He had to go ahead and get over. Which, by the way, this part's interesting. When you push forward, I think at this point, if you jump over, I don't think you can jump back. I think this is the one because there's one of all the paths, right, to kind of go around the map. I think there's one where you can go one way but not the other because it's fragile on the other side. This might be it, but it might not be. You have to sneak up to the guards and take them out. Actually, I don't think that. Actually, it might be it because it's open on the other side. So it might be. I'm not sure. It was just a little interesting thing. But yeah, you go ahead and you defeat them. Then you continue forward, and then you see the Harley Quinn's thugs destroying the Batmobile. You go in, you defeat them, and then you also find tobacco. You find a pipe of tobacco on the ground left by Gordon. It was a gift from Oracle, and so already Batman knew that Gordon would have never dropped it. It's a gift from his daughter. So he went ahead and he was like, oh, he dropped it for me to lead a trail, so I'll go ahead and track this. Gordon was intentionally leaving a trail. It was like, oh, this is Batman's vehicle. Let me leave it here because I know Batman will be able to track it. So he went ahead and he did that, and he also get the explosive gel, which this item, it's a pretty cool item. I think the explosive gel is a super cool item. I think it's a unique item. I think the explosive gel is a unique item compared to all of the other ones, because everyone's like predictable. Like a grappling hook, a zip line, batarangs, sonic batarangs, like all these are like predictable ones. The explosive gel is unique because we've never really seen this. And so I think it's actually really cool. I thought the explosive gel is really unique, and it's been in every game. It's been every variation of the game. So it's just a cool little thing that they made for Batman that they actually like used as a tool, and it's just known now. So I think it's actually a really cool thing that they made. They wanted to put a unique spin on the game, and this thing was it. And it's actually super cool. I enjoyed it a lot. And honestly, if you didn't go into detective mode, there is one thing is you need to start destroying some walls. There is a lot of walls in the game that if you did not have detective mode, you probably would not know it's a destroyable wall. You'd probably see it's like, that's very suspiciously open in comparison to others. But whenever you're in an area where there's not really much around, or there's a bunch of destroyed rubble areas, then you may never know. And there's some that are really well hidden. So that's one of the parts where you're looking for around. You have to be in detective mode most of the time. But yeah, he headed towards the western section of the island, left by Gordon to the western section of the island, where the Joker's men have also managed to take control. Yeah, eventually we see that at the visitor center, we see two thugs putting up posters on a board, which this is honestly cool because slowly throughout the game, like they start at the beginning of the game, and towards the end, it actually gets finished into Joker's face. They're working on making something. And even in the beginning, you just see them putting up billboards, and slowly throughout the game, we get to see them put up to where what they're doing. After defeat Joker, yeah. Escape convicts have seized the medical facility, and oh yeah. He finds a guard attempting to hide in a watchtower, and by saving him, he's informed that the convicts have taken over the medical facility. Then you head over to the medical facility. Yeah, so this is where we finally meet Harley and Gordon, and they're not able to reach them through one of the many security fields. Yeah, and he has to find a different point of entry through maintenance. Yeah, so ends up going to the top of the roof, and he uses the ventilation system to get inside. Yeah, you have to defeat thugs. Yeah, they had a bunch of guns. Here we go. Okay, yeah. So are these? Yeah, here's the names of the doctors. You have to go into the Blackgate prisoners are holding Dr. Sarah Cassidy. She's one of the main doctors, and I believe she's also in some of the voice things. I think she's in one of them. But yeah, and then there's 3 other doctors hostage that you need to help. On his way through the facility, you have to help several more doctors, including Dr. Penelope Young, and which the Joker's henchmen showed a particular interest in her for some reason. We don't even know why, but they're showing an interest in her, and she's like, let me talk to Joker, let me, talk to him, let me figure things out. And for some reason, Joker's interested in holding her hostage, and she's interested in talking to the Joker. So something's going on. But Batman has to go ahead and save her, and she even says that I have important documents. And so at first we kind of just assume there's documents that she has that he wants to get his hands on. We don't know what though. As you continue, you then find a room that is full of gas. Once we find another gas room, and that's where Aaron Cash is. Aaron Cash is an interesting and cool character. Oh, and Dr. Kellerman, there's another doctor in there. We're trapped by a trio of Blackgate convicts in a control room, and it's filled with gas, so you have to empty out the room. Then you head back to the surgery area where the doctors are. You rescue Dr. Chen. This one's cool. There's like a saw trap thing going on. I think you have to beat all the people in the room. But this is the first area, I believe, where you find a Riddler map. So if you had a problem finding any of the Riddler things before, this is the first Riddler map in the game that you find, if I'm correct. And that is super cool. I am glad they have something implemented early in the game, not like late in the game for you to go back and find all the Riddler trophies. Because one thing is you are going to have to backtrack at some point, but early in the game it gives you a map in the location. It doesn't force you to play the game, then you're given something. So I thought that was very cool and very useful. But after you empty the thing... yes. After you finally, you head to the sanatorium, and you eventually run into... one thing that's super cool is that they were located in... I think this was inside of a box. So far, there's been these boxes to where you could collect these teeth. You can, destroy these, chattering teeth to get XP, and it's also part of the Riddler things. But this is the first time we see a violent inmate armed with knives. That's literally what they're called. It's just violent inmate armed with knives.
Yeah.
But I would have just said, just knifed armament. I don't know. There's literally only one that was actually given a name, which was, Hugo. There's, my friend Hugo over here loves knives. That was literally it. Back in the sanatorium, Dr. Young insists on securing her research that she mentioned earlier and is escorted back to the Arkham mansion by Cash while Batman follows Gordon's abductors down to the morgue level and an elevator. So, yeah, you're continuing to just try to save Gordon. Upon entering the lower level, Batman catches a glimpse of the Scarecrow and several unfortunate victims of his fear gas. Yeah, and basically we didn't even get to see him. We got to see his shadow. It was very cool. Soon he's affected by the gas himself. First stumbly, then increasingly in several ways, to where as he gets more weary, and then the atmosphere changes, his eyes become orange, and very clearly he's been infected with fear gas. Batman doesn't know this at first, and here's the thing: something that's interesting about the gas is even if you literally see yourself getting affected by the gas, the fear makes you not. No, I'm wondering if I'm peeking the mic. Whoops, my bad. If I haven't. One thing is he has no idea. You have no idea if you are afterwards. During the effect of the gas, you think it's real. You literally think it's real. Yeah, so eventually he finds Gordon's dead body in an empty hallway, and he tries to contact Oracle about what happened, and he's unable to contact her. He tries to contact her, and he just can't. Dark Knight eventually finds himself in a nightmarish dreamscape set in crumbling ruins in Arkham Asylum, controlled by gigantic monster Scarecrow. One thing that's cool is that he has to. This is really cool because it turns into like a platformer for this section. And I will say one thing, which I want to get a little later into it, I feel, but I'll go ahead and mention this part now. This kind of gives a little new look on the game to where the Scarecrow is more unique in the sense to where you're doing left and right in a spiral motion instead of playing the game exactly the same the rest of the way. So it's a little unique in its own way in comparison to the rest of the game, and so I think it's super cool. And you get to do this several times. But yeah, you have to eventually get to the top, and you fight a symbolic bat signal, and you're able to defeat the Scarecrow with it. Or you're able to defeat the fear toxin incarnate of the Scarecrow. Shaking off the effects of the fear gas, Batman wakes up inside of the morgue, and Batman oh, dude, one cool thing, the morgue, like, there's this really creepy part inside to where you enter you go into a room and you enter the morgue, and there's, like, a bunch of bodies and everything's freaking out. Then you go to leave, and you enter the morgue again. That was super cool. That was a very cool part.
Yeah.
It was super cool, yeah. And then
did have some cool moments with like little cinematic moments like that were done very well and kind of cool, spooky. Like the Scarecrow stuff, I really liked the Scarecrow stuff and how they did that.
I think Scarecrow, out of the whole game, for like just the base game, I think Scarecrow's the most unique. I feel. I think I'm gonna stand by that.
He was done the best out of all the villains.
I have one complaint later about Scarecrow, and it's not even about this game. And I'll tell you later.
Complain about it in this game.
I know we can't. It will have to wait. It'll have to wait.
Wait for me to hate on Batman even more.
It sucks. And this is one actual complaint I have about it, but whatever. We'll continue forward. But yeah, but he shakes off the effects. He continues. Batman realizes, guess what? Gordon's still alive. And then he contacts Oracle and he talks to her and he says that he got affected by the gas, but he went ahead and he continues forward. But yeah, so he continues the trail left for him by the Joker with a vicious little setup for him. Harley is guarding Gordon, and Joker uses Batman to make it undetected past four of his henchmen patrolling the room. This is another area where it kind of forces you to be stealthy, because if you get caught, it's over. If he is spotted by Harley, Harley will execute Gordon instantly. So you have to take out four guys, then sneak up to her without getting caught. Once Batman succeeds, the Joker directs his attention to the surprise left for him, previously locked in a chamber in the middle of the room. And then we get to find Patient X. Batman and Gordon go down below, and inside the chamber with Patient X, we find Bane. Bane is strung up in these restraint, tube things, and it's not just the ones that give him power, but it's also things extracting stuff from him. He is drained from all the venom inside of his body, and the mysterious Patient X that was mentioned before, and it was Patient X mentioned in the PR videos of Dr. Young's Titan project, which they were talking about, which, by the way, beforehand, we got to mention a bunch of videos of this, about Patient X, a mysterious thing, a Titan project, and at first, it seems like it's some way of a form of therapy, if I'm correct. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that's what it was. They were talking about it for how, basically just a setup to cover her experiments. And that's actually what people thought. A lot of doctors thought that they were doing a science project to help their patients, not to make some sort of serum that they were working on extracting venom. So that was the cover up. That was the cover up they made. This entire ploy that Dr. Young made to try to cure these people. Yeah, which we're playing on. Playing on some of the monitors in the upper corridor or in the medical facility. Which as you were saving all three doctors, you got to see some of this. The Joker triggers also the Bane. Let me tell you this one thing, dude. When you enter the room and you see Bane, I want to tell you something. One, like try to if anyone's seen it, think about how like thin, slim, and literally visually drained he is. Like his body has barely anything in it. And then he grows, no joke, like 20 times in size from what he was beforehand. That has got to be so painful.
Yep.
Going from super thin, literally like super thin, super scrawny nothing, to where he was literally just effortlessly like laying in his chains, to then growing to where they were barely able to contain him in. Like that's gotta be that's some like body horror there.
Yeah.
This game gets dark, dude. Like in so many ways. This game gets really dark. And so that's just another thing of like it's horrifying. But afterwards, yeah, Joker triggers the pump, and he enables him to break free and attack Batman, throwing Batman through a wall. Like, that is insane. Like, that, telling you right now, you throw me through a wall, I'm dead. I'm, like, dead before I even go through the wall. Like, that is insane. Throws him through the wall into the medical facility's boiler room. Basically, this sort of show that, like, one thing is he works very similarly to the big guys. Like, he works pretty much almost exactly the same. The only thing is that he hits harder, and that's pretty much it. He's just a bigger guy, but he's bigger, and he hits way harder. That's the only difference. They kind of took the mutant mechanic, and they just amped it up and made it a boss battle, which I'm going to be honest, that's perfect for Bane. That's perfect for Bane to have. It's just... they took a little mechanic, and then they kind of perfected it for Bane. Could they have done more? I'm going to be honest with you. If they could give him unique animations, like a unique grab animation for him, they could have done. But literally, it's almost exactly the same as fighting it's pretty much exactly the same as fighting the mutated guys.
It's 100%. It's literally the exact same fight.
They just amplified it.
And
that's it.
I wouldn't even call it amplified it. It was just like the same fight. Because those big guys you fight more than once in the game. Maybe maybe half a dozen times or so.
If I was to do anything with Bane, it would be give him either like unique animations and maybe unlock it like in phases. So first phase, exactly the same. Next phase has a unique animation. Next phase, have him hit like pump himself up more and he hits way harder. So he could like 3 hit you and you're just dead. Yeah. Like that would have been interesting, and then just give a full heal after the fight's done. That would have been interesting to where it would have been more punishing. Plus, he has a unique look to him instead of just a big guy with a skin on.
I'm down with a 3-phase fight, but the thought that's going through my head, you haven't played Kingdom Hearts.
No, I want to at some point. That is a game we gotta do at some point.
In Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, you have a character you can fight known as Lexius. As you fight Lexius, he has a little power gauge above him. And he hits harder as the fight goes on. So he'll start like 100, then it'll go to 1,000, then it goes to 80,000, 100,000.
That's perfect for Bane. That's literally. I know. I'm sure you know enough about Bane to where that's perfect. That's literally perfect.
You can get one shot by it.
That would have been perfect.
I'm down with Bane have the animations, but he should have thrown stuff at you more. It should have been one of those ones where I'm trying to think of where I think it's Xenoverse. I think it's Xenoverse, where if you get hit hard, if you have a hit hard enough, you get sent to a different map, pretty much.
That's Fighters.
Okay, Fighters.
And
Injustice. That happens.
And Injustice. Yeah, Xenoverse is the arena fighter. Xenoverse doesn't do that.
I know that, but I thought there was something like there you could get hit flying through.
No, that's Fighters. Dragon Ball Fighters does that.
But anyway, like something like that, where let's say Bane grabs you, he throws you to a different area. Like, let's say if it's 3 areas, that's all he can do. Yeah. Like, it needed something more like that.
Keeps throwing you through a wall.
Pretty much.
That'd be hilarious, dude.
Like, Bane is one of Batman's big villains. I like Bane.
Yeah.
He's probably one of my favorite Batman villains because he's very simple, yet he's dangerous. And the fact that Bane is just a reskin, you know what, he was done before the big guys. Wasn't he done before the big guys? Because I want
What
to
do you
say,
mean?
like the bulky guys. Like everything you do with him, you do with all the other big bulky guys.
Yeah, you did it beforehand. Remember, you did it literally when you actually run into Joker. He opens up and he reveals there's a mutant guy.
I thought that was
Literally
after
towards the
Bane.
beginning.
I thought that was after
No,
Bane.
that was
Okay.
Bane's way after. Like in comparison, Bane's after. That's what I'm saying. So I wish it was a little more because Bane just seemed like it was another like obstacle in the way. Which, to be fair, Bane wasn't a super. I wish there was more for Bane. I wish there was a little.
He's just, and that's the issue with it is a lot.
The problem is they use the variation that I don't like. You know how I said like there's a like pretty much for all these characters it's almost universal, and I said except really for Bane. That's because the version they use for Bane is just big, angry, strong guy. That's not really what Bane is. Yes, he's big, angry, strong guy, but he's not dumb. Really,
he's smart.
he
He's
hasn't
smart, dude.
for almost every variation. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. He's a prison leader. And the problem is the way they kind of made him in this game is just big angry guy.
Yeah.
Which I do get that the serum that they worked on was supposed to be better than Bane, and I totally understand that. But I wish they gave Bane stuff like unique animations. I would have been completely fine with that one.
Unique animations would have been fine. Having him as the fight goes on, he hits you harder would have been great. Have him every once in a while, or make it like one of the things where you don't survive against, you have to survive against him, and he goes and buffs himself up, then you hit him while doing it. And you just get stronger as the fight goes on. That would have been so much better, but Bane is...
Because that is the thing with Bane is that he's just like, oh, I'm losing, power up more, power up more, power up more. Like, that's the thing. It's like the Hulk almost, but with like chemicals instead. And so where he just kind of gets bigger as the fight goes on.
It got disappointing because this is something that I'm going to point out later. But the fact that he was a reskin and he was a boss kind of sucked for the fact that
did kind of suck.
That he's one of
it's
Batman's
cool that he
villains.
was in there. It is okay. I will say it is cool that he's in there. Prefer him not be there in there at all. But yeah, this is one of my
I would have preferred,
first. Go ahead.
I would have preferred him not to be in there at this point with how
And
he
maybe
was
put-
treated.
Yeah, maybe put him in a later game and with a better thing. Dude, there's a lot in this game, by the way. Like, once we actually get down to it, there's a lot in this game that's super cool that I want to talk about.
All right, then let's go.
Yeah.
Bane.
So
beat Bane into the ground. He's sad and pathetic.
And then, yeah, you after fierce battle in the boiler room by any means, he shoots his grappling gun at the ceiling once the ceiling is weakened. The roof collapses on Bane after the roof is weakened because of him running into all the walls, buries him in rubble. Bane rises, however, and like literally rushes through Batman again and hits him outside of the building. He says something along the lines of, I'm going to break you, and Batman's just, no, I'm going to break you. And he activates the Batmobile and hits Bane with the Batmobile and knocks him into the river. So not only is Bane weakened, he collapsed by a building and then hit by the Batmobile, but he was hit into the water and he is underwater, weakened, stuck under the Batmobile. If there's any man with more plot armor than Batman, it's Bane, because my goodness, how is he not dead?
Yeah, welcome to DC. Nothing.
I think this was at a point where Batman was like, listen, I'm going to do this because I'm pretty sure you can survive, but if you don't, good luck. But yeah, so into the water, and here's the murky waters of the Gotham Bay. Batman takes Commissioner Gordon to the docks in the Arkham West, where an emergency launch is waiting to take the Commissioner back to the mainland. Gordon does not like leaving Batman here, but he's like, I clearly have no other choice. Batman, you can handle yourself much better than I can. Go ahead. Gordon and security guard down the boat, leaving Batman standing alone onto the docks. And then Batman heads over to the Batcave. Can you take over this for a bit real quick? He heads over to the Batcave.
I don't have the wiki pulled up. Oh no.
The wiki is
I know, I just don't have it pulled up.
It's fine. Yeah, just pull it at the links right here. It's very small. You will literally find it in 2 seconds. It's Batman. Not that big. We've been doing way more talking than the actual game. Which, by the way, the wiki, we have a wiki. We have a wiki here, but I try to not read all of the wiki. I try to do it in my own phrasing because I don't want to just read the wiki to you guys. Like, I want to do my own phrasing and talk about the game itself, things I like. So I try to not just be boring and just, let me read this wiki and make it a video.
Okay.
This is my first time trying to full on be a lead, in a better sense. Like I've tried to be elite before, but I feel like I haven't done it. I've never done it where I feel like, yes, I did good this video. I've never really done that yet, but I'll be back in a bit. Just go on Batcave, go for, and if you get to a point where you think you can have a rant, go for it, and then I could talk about what point you're at.
All right, so we go to the Batcave. Batman is talking to the Oracle, and he's going to go. I think is just analyze the stuff. So Batman goes to his cave. He put a cave underneath it years back. Yeah, I don't know why, because he's Batman. He said, you know what? I'm always be ready. So goes down there, then learn that youngest. Okay, yeah. So he goes down there, starts analyzing the stuff. Analyzing. My picture's broken, or is that my TV? I don't know. But Batman analyzes, does his Batman stuff, learning that Dr. Young has been researching the venom that fuels Bane to develop an enhanced version known as Titan. It's the Venom stuff that Bane uses, but an enhanced version known as Titan. And let's see, yet more powerful, ostentatiously intended to help inmates withstand the more strenuous therapies. Yep. Batman heads over to Arkham Mansion to reach Young notes before Joker gets there first. Yes, that's exactly it. So he decides, all right, we got to go there, destroy the notes so Joker doesn't get them. So you go through the sewer, make it with a Batclaw, go through the area, make your way to the it says Arkham Caves. I'll be honest, I did not care for this game much. But let's see, with help of the Batclaw, a gadget similar to the grappling gun that Batman assembled in the Arkham Batcave, Batman reaches the old sewer through the Arkham Caves. He discovers the Joker sees the tunnels of the old sewer and has posted several Blackgate convicts there to prevent him from proceeding. After defeating them, Batman enters the main sewer junction, which is a massive crumbling chamber with mazes, decrepit columns, archways, and platforms. This one did annoy me because Batman uses a Batclaw to traverse stuff. So this is where like the hidden stuff is. Oh, you got to puzzle your way around. It got annoying because there were solid metal structures in there, and that if you went for the stone, that's fine. Stone crumbles, but you could use the Batclaw on the solid metal structures. These solid metal structures should have been able to hold Batman. If they couldn't have, then that place needs to fall to the ground. But merges from the main sewer junction and the surface access area, which contain unused exits to Arkham North. Here, Batman finds the Joker's men have gotten their hands on sniper rifles. You gotta dodge snipers. After the forces deals, Batman's find that Joker's taking over part of the island as well. Joker's taking over the entire island, pretty much. I mean, hell, I've already gone through 2 parts. I can just keep going. Because he's not wrong. This really isn't long. Like, story is not long at all. So, you make your way in to the, finding Dr. Young. After being forced to contend with the more gun-wielding thugs, Batman enters the Arkham Mansion. That is the Arkham Mansion next. You defeat some of Joker's men, go into the mansion, and you, finds more of the staff members. Notice it, and you will also get to run into a thing called suicide collars. Suicide collars are kind of fun in this game. I really did like how they did that. And the way they work is if your heartbeat reaches like a certain pace, like BPM, then they alert like the securities, like, hey, let's say if somebody gets shanked in the cells. I don't know if there are multiple prisons in there, like, like prison mates and stuff like that. But you can, in the prison itself, you can go to, if HP, like I said, HP, I'm tired. It's been a long day. But if the BPM drops low enough, it starts alerting the guards, hey, their heartbeat's dropping. So this becomes a way in the game. So stealth things start becoming a little more tedious because let's say if you knock somebody out, let's say if you Batman them and wrap them up, because you'll get some upgrades as the game goes on that allow you to like Spider-Man your way down. And I know it's Batman, which is probably where it was based on, but Spider-Man. You grab them, wrap them up, and then you have the suicide collar on them, and you alert, and you can hear it always going, ha, 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 alerting. And as Joker takes over, as you knock out somebody, he'll be like, hey, you fools, there's supposed to be one more of you, I thought. Or he'll just say stuff like that to get their attention to go check out whatever's going on. That was a very fun way to add to the stealth, because not many stealth games have an aspect of, oh man, this happened. How do we know if this guy's dead? We don't. They just happen to stumble upon him. So one like this, where they actually have a system where if the man gets knocked out, then everybody knows that he's knocked out, is done really, really well.
Which part's done well?
The suicide collars.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That is a cool little mechanic to kind of tell on you for what you're doing. I think that's really cool, and it kind of forces them to gather up together. Like one thing is once you initiate one thing, so there's you don't see it. You don't see it, but you can tell. There's like a fear sequence. One thing is Batman's just known for a character to kind of cause fear, the Batman, the Dark Knight. So one thing is when there's a fear sequence, once characters are scared, they try to group up together and they try to stick together.
Yep.
And you have to wait a while for that fear sequence to go away. Now there's ways you could try to split them up.
Now,
but whenever there are ways you can split them up with like,
I want to point out something dumb that happened more than once. So I know this is an older game, so this is just crappy technology at this point. But you could have a group of them. Like, say, group of 3, you knock out one of them, you have all 3 of them run to it. Did you know you can just domino stealth kill them?
Yeah, you can. If they do not turn around, you can just stealth.
And except your friends behind you, literally. Oh man, look at this man down here. Is he doing okay?
I literally did that to where like 2 guys were looking over. It's like, oh man, he's down. What are we gonna do? It's like, hey, what are you doing? Like it's hilarious. I love it.
And I don't know if I find that funny or bad. It's probably a healthy mix of both because come on, guys, really? Like they don't have like some games. We'll do The Last of Us. We'll use that one as an example because it's a stealth-based game. If you were close enough to them, they will hear you. But the fact that these ones are literally like one was clipping into the other one. That's how close I was with one of them. He's literally like his foot's touching his like going through his back, and I just like shh and kill him. And the other one's just like, man, George here, he had a wife. He has a wife. Shh. This just I don't.
And you know, there's a funny thing in the game. There's 2 fun things. One is whenever you so animations, they're typically like scripted to play away, right? But one thing is you can jump onto a person, and instead of you jumping onto them and punching them in the face, it goes backwards. The character model will be backwards. You'll jump on them and you punch them in the crotch so hard they pass out. And that is just the funniest thing that it plays backwards. And there was one funny thing. I haven't done it again this run, but back when I played it the first time, I was sneaking up on a guard who's going upstairs. I was sneaking up a guy with a gun. And because of his position and mine's a stealth takedown, I just slapped him in the ass and then grabbed his neck and pulled him down. Because there's one where you just kind of hit someone back and grab them, like that, like just hit them in the side or the back and you get them. But because he was going upstairs, you just slapped him across the ass.
You know what? That's God. I don't know how I'd feel if that's the last thing I felt before I got knocked unconscious.
It's just Batman. Just like he's that's so funny.
And the one thing that always has bothered me, and I don't know, I want to say is because sometimes you could see the choking coming. They don't ever alert. Like they have the guns in their hand. You know what they could do? Bang, 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 bang. Batman's here. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, they're just no, yeah. Because dude, like literally just like you just aim your guns at the air and just kind of shoot it. Mm-hmm. You could do something.
You could do anything, and no, Batman's like, shush. I am Batman. I am better. I am Batman.
It would have been interesting if he did something to where like he goes and like grabs their wrists and twists it to force them to let go of the gun, because then it like makes sense. Like grab them, make them let go of the gun.
Truly, smack them in the ass. I don't care.
Yeah, just so funny. I was not able to recreate it this round because I wasn't trying to. I was like, if it happened again, that'd be so funny, but it hasn't happened again.
Smack an ass hard enough, they drop their gun. It's just,
yeah, and then you try, and then also you can land on them. You push them in the crotch so hard they pass out. That's gotta hurt.
Oh no, it ain't hurting at that point. It's so numb because everything fucking explodes.
Yeah. But yeah, so one thing is after Gordon leaves, he contacts Oracle that Gordon's off the island and that he's heading to the Batcave. She's confused what he means by the Batcave. He says literally forever ago.
Danger, we're past that.
Oh, where'd you get to?
I'm in the middle of. We talked about the suicide callers. I'm like.
I did. Okay, you're at Dr. Young.
Yeah, he
okay.
notices the
I didn't know
suicide
how
colors.
I didn't know how far I didn't know how far you went off. I thought
Yeah.
you were just talking about it. I didn't know
No, no,
you
no.
could say okay.
Yeah, no. He notices
Only thing
suicide
I'll say,
colors worn by. Oh,
yeah, Batcave, super cool. Also they discover Joker's sees tunnels. Yeah. Okay, I already know this. I just want to say that I thought the whole Batman thing, not Batman, the Batcave. I think the whole Batcave thing was cool. There's like a unique little Batcave hidden on Arkham Island. I think that's cool.
all right. I'll finish off where I was. You pick up. So
Okay.
he notices suicide collars worn by some of the Joker's henchmen, electronic devices that sound an alarm when they detect sudden heartbeat changes in the inmates. Batman then rescues Aaron Cash and another Arkham guard being held captive by a group of armed Blackgate convicts in the record room.
Okay. Aaron, our big captive. Okay. Yeah, Batman eventually makes his way through the mansion to Dr. Young's office, only to find that she's already retrieved the notes. Also, one thing is at this point of the game, I'll continue forward, but I believe it's around this area. There's a super cool Easter egg. He tracks the trail of her fingertips to the mansion's library, where she hid the notes from the Joker, briefly pausing to deal with several of the Joker's thugs to rescue Bill. Oh, no. Oh, briefly. No, Sorry, there's a period there. He briefly paused to deal with several of the Joker's thugs and rescues Bill, a security guard, and an orderly being held captive. Just one of the doctors. He destroys the notes. Unfortunately, Joker had Zaz kidnap Dr. Young herself and intend to have him torture her until he gives her the Titan formula. She gives him the Titan formula. I don't know if it's at this part to where you can find it. I'm gonna keep going. Oh no, it might be here. Okay, once we get to here, we've definitely passed it at this point. So I'll keep going. While venturing through the mansion to rescue Dr. Young, Batman is drugged by Scarecrow once again, this time being forced to relive his parents' death and having the battle past another giant Scarecrow. One thing, he emerges from the gas unharmed once more, and he finds Zaz holding Dr. Yeah, he's holding Young hostage in Warden Sharp's office.
Sequence, I pissed Danger off.
Dude, he literally is playing the game. And funny enough, that's actually where I stopped playing that same day. Because I just had some things I needed to go do. And you literally sent me the script. You took a picture of Bruce Wayne laying, like, just on his hands and knees, mourning his dead parents, showing that he has gone through so much trauma, it sends him down this path. And you were just like, you sent me a picture, you're like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I said, no. Fuck you. It's sad. Be sad.
Let me go find it. Oh, there's my 181 hours in The Last of Us.
You need help.
I don't even know how. I've played the game 7 times. That should only be 70. Why the fuck is it almost triple?
You've probably, like, okay, we're also counting all the times you kind of just had the game running while you went to go do something else. There's a lot of that time. There's also
really.
There's also this game's old. Like, this game's not new. You're playing the original one, right?
Yeah, this is PS4.
Okay, but that's still old. The PS4 version's still old.
I mean,
it's old, so it's not insane.
Twice. That's about 25 hours.
Yeah, the PS3, yes.
The fact
but still, the PS4 version's old. The PS4 version itself's old.
This one has almost 200 hours. I am flabbergasted.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not bad. It's a good game.
All right, so I found the thing exactly. So I'm literally sitting there, like, he's sitting there mourning his parents, and I don't know why. Just him walking through the alleyway is like, oh, he's about to have some moment. His parents are gonna be dead in front of him. He's gonna turn to a kid again. He'll be crying, and next thing you know, as soon as I say that, I was literally talking to myself out loud, talking to my cat too. But I said, like, Minion, his parents are about to die in front of him. He's gonna turn into a kid, and the next thing you know, parents dead in front of me, turns into a kid, and it's like, oh my god. Tell me why this is funny. 1, at that part. 2, fuck you. It's a sad moment. Be sad.
Fuck you. It's a sad moment. Be sad.
I don't know. And then him just walking, like, his head hung low. He looked like a little sister from BioShock as he was walking.
Am I crazy?
Yes.
I want you to go back and listen to the kid voice actor for Batman, for Bruce Wayne, for
Okay.
like child Bruce Wayne. Am I crazy, or does it sound similar to Kid Gohan? Am I crazy?
I'm not doing it now. I'll just go look up the voice actor.
The voice actor, because I heard like the like already talking. It sounded similar, but like the no sounded so much like it. I could just be crazy, but that's what it sounded like to me. I'm probably just crazy. That's what it sounded like.
You are crazy.
Okay, but like y'all tell me if I'm crazy, but I listened to it and it sounded similar. But yeah, he beats it and he has to fight again another Scarecrow, which again, this is like a side scroller, and so it kind of takes what the game is. It just takes all the implements of the game. It makes a side scroller out of it, which I think is super fun. It's a little thing, and I myself am not the biggest side scroller fan, but I do enjoy myself some side scrolling, and this actually made it fun and interesting. It kind of forced you to slow down, try to pay attention to him moving, and at some point you even have to use gadgets to get along. But after emerging from the gas unharmed once more, he finds Zaz holding Young hostage in Warden Sharp's office with a knife, and uses his batarang to defeat Zaz and rescue Young. It actually literally took me a whole minute to figure out how to get him, because what threw me off is there was a room above. I thought I was supposed to sneak above for a moment, because I...
Oh, okay. So you want to know who voiced Bruce Wayne as a kid?
Who?
The Oracle.
The Oracle?
Yeah, the girl who voiced the Oracle voiced the Bruce Wayne as a kid,
Huh.
and Sarah Cassidy as Kimberly D. Brooks.
Huh.
They have a lot of characters that are just reused in this.
Yeah. It is a funny thing to where you find a character, like you find a person who voices a character, which is just kind of like they're literally used like once or twice. It's like, wow, they actually voiced a lot of, like, I bet you a lot of, one thing is, for it being a pretty much an indie game, they had a lot of like
You
massive
keep
names.
saying it's an indie game. I don't.
It's not at all. It's not. It got officially funded, officially licensed, and Rocksteady, but it was just a game made by a group of 40 people had so much in it, and it's insane. And I'm joking by saying it's an indie game, but you could actually make an argument it was. But it was made by a small team, and so it's really cool. It's really cool seeing what started all of pretty much started Rocksteady, which is super cool. Um, but yeah, he uses his batter. All I gotta say is something hilarious. Dude, like, Dr. Young
Their
screaming is the
first game.
funniest thing. Like, she's yelling, like, someone help me! He says, like, I'm gonna kill you. You're like, and she gets cut off, and it's so funny.
What did you say their first game was, Danger?
For the team that worked on it, Rocksteady's first game was Arkham.
Wrong.
No, not their first game. They had one game beforehand.
Yeah.
They had one game beforehand. I forgot the name of it. Okay, and let me rephrase. I'm pretty sure I said this at the beginning. It was their first game that got them big. They did a game beforehand,
Urban
though.
Chaos.
Yes, they did a game before. I think I even specified earlier they did a game, but Batman was the first game to make them big. They did do a game beforehand. Hold on. Like, I think you literally just said the name.
No,
But yeah, they did do
Urban
a game.
Chaos. Urban Chaos is the game.
Yeah. But yeah, I very confident I said earlier that they did do a game beforehand. But this was the first game that got them super big. But yeah, the shaken Dr. Young reveals that the Joker now has the Venom and her Titan formula, which I believe you already mentioned that he found out about the Titan formula from the Batcave.
Yeah.
She talks of a laboratory inside the gardens. When she goes over to Sharp Safe to retrieve the security codes, she finds that the Joker had gotten there first and rigged it with explosive. It's super funny that like Young died like 3 times for me trying to get her, because I was super confused of what to do at first, just for her to die immediately. Me and my brother were laughing hysterically because again, the thing on top like misled me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I gotta go and throw a batarang, like corner throw a batarang. I was a fool, but it was super funny. It's like, oh, fire, I saved her. Yes, fuck, he's dead. But yeah, and Harley Batman also gets hit by the blasting, falls down, and Harley taunts him for it. And they have Warren Sharp. Then she hits Warden with the staff, even breaking it. And I believe it was blood. I believe it was blood that he tracked because she hit him so hard and he was
Yeah.
bleeding. After waking up, taking out some thugs Harley left behind, Batman tracks Harley to the penitentiary. Batman chases Harley through the building. They're like, dude, there's so. I think this was another area where you could find a map. If I'm correct, I think it was in the stream. You can find another map. I love the maps, dude. I love the Riddler. There's so many riddles. I love them so much. The Riddler. I know so many people are like Riddler's the bane of their existence for these games. I love the Riddler so much. I love him as a character. I love him in this game. He's just fun. He's a really fun character. Batman chases Harley through the building. He finds Sharp in the control room, frees him, and takes Sharp's security codes, enabling him to get a little device for the barriers for his sequencer. Also, an interesting thing. Let me find it real quick. There is a secret. Yeah, so one thing is if you're in the room with him, there's Clayface, which is super cool. Clayface is in the room, and you can have a little interaction with Clayface. At first, he's, I believe, the Commissioner Gordon. No, Gordon or Cash. I think he's Gordon or Cash. But then when you go to see Sharp and come back, he transforms into Sharp, which is cool. That's not the cool thing, though. If you go upstairs, there is there's a locked up inmate in there. And if you go up there, he is a very detailed and unique character and is missing an arm. I scanned him, I looked at him, I'm like, this is a very weird person. And when you go, and one thing is, by the way, interesting, if you go to detective mode, he has his arm. They didn't bother removing the model. They just turned it invisible, but the model's still a full body. But it looks like he's missing an arm. He's super detailed. And it's like, this is weird. I don't recognize this character. There's nothing about him. He's just here, and he's hidden in this room. Turns out it was actually a fan of the game. Turns out whenever you go in there, there's a one-armed inmate who looks detailed more specific than the rest. Is because the inmate is based on a guy named Luke Oliver who won a contest to have his likeness inserted somewhere in the game. So that's actually super cool. Like, he's actually hidden.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in the room with Clayface. So when you find Clayface, there's a way to go upstairs. He's in there. I noticed it was weird. I was like, I don't recognize this character. It looks super detailed, unlike the rest, and he's missing an arm. I don't recognize this person. It's because it's a real person. So it's a little thing that's super cool. Also, there's something that's really cool in this game, which you might already know, which I didn't know, which was, again, another really cool thing about this game. But let's go back to it. Yeah. So, Batman has also, on our way here, we got to see Poison Ivy, and as we're going on through, Harley releases Poison Ivy, and so he went ahead and let her loose, and now she is a new problem of things we're gonna have to deal with later. To make things worse, Joker frees the rest of the crazed Arkham inmates who are just literally, and they're the insane people. They literally go around the map, they climb on top of things, they eat rats, they're jumping around, they're screaming. They are hilarious. It's super funny whenever you just like they're running at you and you just click, I think, X.
Just one punch them.
You just click X and you punch them and they just go flying into the air. They're so cartoony.
It's like Butch Burke and whatever his name is in Final Fantasy VII Remake. The 3?
It's just so funny. He's just so cartoonish. Batman follows Harley into a large room with an electric floor, which she uses to try to kill him, but you just grapple up on top of the platform. Then she sends her thugs after to get you while she's just kind of like, I can like a wreck towards the top on top of a chain while you're fighting all these thugs with guns. One cool thing is that you can actually make it to where you prevent them from getting guns. It's kind of, I mean, it's not impossible to do, but it is hard to get them to not pull out a single gun at all. It's not impossible at all, but it is definitely difficult because you're constantly having to go back and forth, and every character is going to try to get a gun if it's available. There's these like gun safe things, and the alarms start going off if they're opening them. But one thing is there's like a timer. So think of it like Think of it Dead by Daylight getting an engine done. It's sort of like that, to where progress gets going as they're on it. So again, like if any of them on it, the time stays, and so it's like, let's say like 15 seconds. If an enemy gets on it like for 2 seconds, they keep doing that. 15 seconds later of them doing that, it in their time it'll open. So it's not impossible to do, but it is difficult. If you got the triple batarang and the combo batarang, then you could definitely stop them. But you definitely would, unless you were only getting that, you would not have that by this point. Unless you're only getting that, which is fine. It's just not the super optimal. When she fails, she sends her thugs after him who fail. The Joker fears her failure, crosses her off of his party list, and then you have to fight even more people. So one thing is Harley Quinn, you don't actually fight her, but Harley Quinn as a boss fight is basically she just sends hordes of enemies at you. She sends hordes of enemies at you and uses her like platforms to her advantage, and basically also early in the game trying to get her, she keeps using barriers to stop you. So basically, if you want to take into consideration, Harley Quinn's boss fight is the building itself, if you want to take that into consideration. Because Harley Quinn herself, you don't actually fight her, but she is a boss, and she's in charge of making waves like harder. Like first you just kind of fight inmates, then you fight inmates with platforms, and then you fight inmates with multiple platforms, and they're just geared up more and more and more. So if you want to, you can consider it that way, but it's more of just you're rewarded by capturing a person for completing these sets of stages. But you're chasing Harley the whole time when barriers start going up. And then you'll notice later on, barriers don't become a problem anymore afterwards.
I'd say the boss fight itself is the electric room. Everything else leads up to it, but the boss fight itself would be considered the electric room. But yeah. I do agree that...
I was saying technically speaking, and again, that one room is Harley Quinn's boss fight room, but everything's kind of leading up to it. A bunch of inmates, then electric floor that leads you to go to inmates to fight inmates in waves, and then it forces you to go to this little like party room area thing. Not a party room, but it's a unique special room.
The bosses in this game, except for one, are very lackluster. Like, I want to say there's not, and even the one that wasn't super lackluster is still lackluster. But it was so different. But the quote-unquote bosses were done horrendously in this entire game. Every boss was just awful. I can't think of a game. This isn't even me Batman hate. This is actual I don't like. I cannot think of a single game that had worse boss fights in this game. I'm not even. It's not even me being a hater. I've thought through. I cannot think of maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like Dream Nightmare 3 or like Nightmare Escape or whatever it was, Nightmare 3. The final boss there, just because he was so tough. But outside of that, I would honestly say that these Arkham first the Asylum game, have the worst bosses I've ever seen in video games.
Fair, because I can't think of anything to counter it at all. It is basically environments. One thing about the boss fights is it's basically like instead of the boss, it's the environment that's like changed. And that's why Bane is lackluster in the sense of you're just fighting Bane, who's a big guy in a small room, which you do that multiple times. And so that's why Bane is the most lackluster one. One thing which I want to get later is when we get through more of the villains, but each villain, it's like playing a different game in a sense of the way the level's built. The mechanic of how to beat the boss doesn't change. It's the area that you fight the boss that changes. So it's more of the level design than the boss. So I do totally agree that the bosses are lackluster, but the environment does change. So to say they're entirely lackluster, I could still kind of agree with you on that. But it is the bosses, yes. The levels, no.
I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna quantify the area into how good the boss fight is. If I did, some boss fights would be a lot better than they were. But I'm going to the fight itself. And Bane, he becomes a normal enemy pretty much.
Because Bane doesn't have anything special for his environment. No. There's nothing special for us. If he tore apart the environment and threw parts of it at you, then maybe. But his thing is he damages his environment, which was his thing. His thing was he damaged his environment, which that doesn't really do anything. That just shows that you're closer to beating him,
Yeah.
which doesn't really do anything. Which again, so like if he used the environment against you, if he threw things at you, if he something, I don't know, something.
Like anything. And I'm gonna spoil.
Well,
I'm gonna spoil the next boss later.
like we'll continue. We're getting there. We're towards here.
You know, while this is, I'm gonna grab me a slice of pizza.
Okay. There's a hell of a cafeteria, larger room, electrified floor. Off the party list, after you fight a bunch of goons. Harley tries to attack Batman herself, and he just kind of throws her around. She keeps trying. He keeps throwing her around, and he throws her into a cell. And then Harley pretty much lets up. Yeah, through the Harley kind of messing up. Batman learns that the Joker has secret Titan project inside of the garden. Then we started heading to the garden, which you very clearly know Poison Ivy headed towards. Now in possession of the knowledge that the Joker plans to build an army of Titan-fueled mutants from the whole Titan thing that Bane was taken from, that Dr. Young took Bane's serum, made Titan from it. And one very cool thing about the tapes is if you like I mentioned earlier, if you get all of the Joker tapes, it's Dr. Young talking with the Joker. It's very interesting, very cool. Batman heads over to the gardens, and you have to save a bunch of the people inside. It cuts it out here, so I'm cutting from this and talk about it. You go inside and you find the massive garden, and you have to save a bunch of the people that have been captive. You also have to get through security and whatnot. There are a bunch of people, but eventually, after you get through all that, you save one of the people that say, "Oh yeah, there's a hidden laboratory in here." Once you save the scientists. In there, the doctors, which even one of them mentions, we had no idea Titan Serum was made to be a mutant thing. We assumed Titan Serum, like what she told us is that Titan Serum was going to be something to help people. So they even mentioned they had all this facility, this promotion, all this stuff, however, let's assume millions of dollars towards creating the Titan Serum, which they had no idea about. Like, it was hidden perfectly. After battling with two of Joker's henchmen, these are basically shown as to be the perfected henchmen. Yes, I believe it was at this point that we found out that these are pretty much the perfected henchmen. Which, by the way, earlier in the level, very creepy thing, by the way, earlier in this level, if you are in the underground area, I don't know if this is secret, because I don't think you need to walk over here if you need be. But one of the things is you hear the Joker experimenting with chemicals. You hear him taking the little information he has, and he's trying to recreate the serum with the things that he has. And you hear people screaming. One thing also is you hear one guy, there's a special conversation going on between this goon that just walked in and the Joker. And it's like, it talks about it, it's going to sting a bit, it gives you a serum, it'll make you big and strong. It's like, it'll make you big, it'll make you strong, it'll make you smart. Well, it'll make you big. And so he gives him the serum, and he's like yelling, it hurts, it burns, it hurts, it's painful. It's like, it didn't work. Toss him aside. And then you see the body fall from the waterfall sewer area, and it falls and hits the ground. And this guy's like a deformed arm. Part of his face is deformed. I think his leg is messed up. And you just see this guy dead on the ground, and it didn't work out well. He's like, Joker hasn't perfected the serum yet.
I did not see that part. I was past that part.
So one thing is, it happens towards the side of the map. It happens towards the side of the map where water's falling. You don't really... The reason I went over there is because I was going out of my way to look for secrets, and that happened next to me. But if I went the path... I realized, because I went back through it again. If I went through the path that I was supposed to go, I would have never seen it. So there's a lot of secrets in this game, and it's insane. There's one that I want to talk about near the end of it, when we get to the end of the game, that is amazing. It's super cool. But yeah, so we go through, we find it, and so what I was saying here is now we get to the room, and Joker injected two of the henchmen with the now complete Titan Serum. Afterwards, he uses basically the big guys to kind of destroy the facility himself, to use the time to destroy the facility and each other. And what he does is that then we get the zipline ability to, he gets the gadget. it's super funny is that we see the Batwing fly outside, look towards the building, shoot into the building, drop his canister, and take off. And it's for a zip line. It's all this chaos and
So much could have
things.
happened had he just hopped in that thing and just went after Joker in this, at the end.
Oh yeah, it would have been hilarious. Like, man, just like, what are they gonna do? Get in it? Like, what are the thugs gonna do? Get it? It's flying the whole time, and this happens. This happens in a single night, and I know it has enough fuel to go for a few hours. So,
Batman, everybody.
yeah, but then the game would have been boring. So gotta make it interesting. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that many games have a problem with, to where logic has to kind of go out the window, because if logic made sense, the game would be boring.
No.
Like, there's a lot of games like that, where if logic made sense, the game would be boring.
I disagree.
Too easy. Too many.
How they could have done that part is have Joker with, because he has snipers. You go into the Batwing for a little while, then it gets shot down.
He tries to use it.
He tries to use it. He does something like, "Oh no,
You know
no.
what?
That'll toy with everything. Boys, take care of it."
Yeah, like, that's why it's like that's why no other police can fly in. It's like, we're only allowing news helicopters. Anything else, then we see it not worthy. Has to be if you want news helicopter, sure, fine, whatever. And then it could have been a sort of like foreshadowing, like, we need an audience for this or something. Like let the news show up. I love Jack Ryder. We're gonna need an audience for this. And then his deeper voice, his more sinister voice, and kind of walks towards the camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, since Titan is produced by genetically engineered plants, hence the location of the secret lab, Batman believes poison ivy could help him find a cure. Ivy refuses to help Batman, declaring that she'd rather watch him pretty much just die by it, until he threatens to make every plant in Arkham suffer unless she cooperates. And she is way too weak at this point to do anything, and here's the thing, he says he won't kill people, and I think animals are also on that list. He doesn't consider a plant that. He has no problem putting a whole bunch of weed killer all over. These hands are ready to eat for everyone, and plants are gonna get it too. And so she's like, "No, okay, I'll go."
But only plants.
No, it's for everybody. It's just they don't kill. They're non-lethal.
No, I'm talking about the killing.
Okay. She informs him that the only way to create an antidote is to use some rare spores, which can only be found in the sewers. Which in the sewer is Killer Croc. He dwells down there, and so they need to go and find him. As Batman's starting to leave the garden, Joker announces that he gave Ivy some of the Titan serum, and her plants start to grow and gigantic. They start growing huge, and they start breaking apart the building. And over time, you slowly see the island becoming completely covered with all of these vines, these bulbous flowers, these spores, just the entire island, these giant petals, the entire island gets taken over by plants. And Batman says how she used it a year ago for her first attack on Gotham with these spores, and now she has she can now shoot it with these plants now. Yeah, you can defeat a bunch of these plants, which, by the way, it's so much easier to just destroy these plants instead of just ignoring them and going along. They give you some more experience points. It's good to just get them out of the way. Yeah, after you head back into the Arkham Mansion, Batman learns from Aaron Cash that the only way to access Croc's lair is through the pathway in the intensive treatment. Which, by the way, yeah, I was here at this point where everything's covered in poison. You have to go to Cash. Which, again, trying to leave that area was so annoying because literally I had to kind of glide onto the ground, and my foot kept touching the thing. After dealing with several of Joker's security guards, they were a bunch of men wearing police outfits, a bunch of thugs. Batman tracks to the facility, trying to continue forward, but then is drugged by Scarecrow once more on his way through the facility.
Scarecrow got annoying at this point.
Yeah. Scarecrow injects it with an immense amount of toxins into him. Even says it's enough to drive 10 men insane. But Batman continues to beat it and continues to go through.
Don't
And
hey,
Scarecrow.
don't forget about actually what happened because that sequence was cool.
Oh yeah, so we go ahead and go into it. So one thing that was super cool about the sequence is as you're continuing forward, you hear like I don't remember like you hear like something play on the speakers, and then the game starts glitching out. And let me tell you this: at the time, games glitching out were just known to be a thing. It honestly was a worry for a lot of people. So the game's starting to glitch out, like straight up think it's a legit problem, and then the game like resets and starts loading in again. And then the game boots up from the very like if you just started up the game, it starts playing a cutscene. But then you notice on the moon, it's the upside down Batman signal with eyes. So it's basically making a frowny, scary face. The Batmobile continues forward, and it's Joker driving the Batmobile while Batman's the one going insane. As we continue on forward, a bunch of the signs have been changed, and they're much different than everything else we've seen. As we continue on forward, everything has changed about Arkham Asylum. Batman is the one strapped down in the chair instead of the Joker. Instead of Commissioner Gordon being there, it's Harley Quinn. Instead of a doctor evaluating him, the scientist is Scarecrow. Instead of seeing a bunch of thugs on the side, it's Commissioner Gordon and Sharp, and people are about to take him out to go shoot them outside. Like you're going on forward, and they evaluated to where how Batman is just insane. And now I will say this. This is one of the things that am I'm going to be on the side of the benefit of the doubt to where I accept Batman's no killing rule. This has been a theory before that I've heard of in the last maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, and this game came out way beforehand. And so it leads me to believe as an okay excuse. It's an excuse. But it lets me be okay with it. One thing for Batman about showing his biggest fears, him being the insane one, is many theories about the Batman, which Ed Case shows proven through many comics, variations of where he does, is once Batman starts killing, he can't stop himself. Because, okay, one killing's okay. Okay, then another, then another, then another. How far will he go to where he goes insane and becomes just like one of the Arkham Asylum inmates? The only thing that he feels that separates him from everyone else, from murderers, he is self-aware that he is insane and a murderer. If he starts killing, he knows he won't be able to stop. Or it could lead him down a path of constantly killing. And, okay, I'll kill this one time. Okay, one more time. Okay, one more. And then he just goes insane. And one variation, many variations, is if we get a Batman that starts killing, no one can stop him or he turns evil. And it's in a sense of to where even unjust killing, the injustice. If Batman, if we want any version of Batman was injustice, there's so many variations of where Batman starts killing. And that's basically what it would be. And so I think because of the way they have it in this game, the way I've seen it in many comics from both sides, and many ways he's explained it, I am okay with the excuse that Batman does not kill because he doesn't want to become another Arkham Asylum inmate. He doesn't want to be another person that would just be like this, like the Joker, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze. The one thing that sets him apart is he doesn't kill people and he wants to be good. It's an excuse, but I'd much rather just accept that than he just doesn't want to kill people.
That makes him 10 times worse.
Yeah.
No,
that he's literally aware that because it's the only thing that okay. So let me put in a scenario. One thing is I would be much more okay with Batman being as someone that would, not that it's okay, but it's like in a scenario where it's needed to be, and Batman was forced to kill someone to save someone's life, Batman is a person who would make more sense than Superman, who could go faster than you can blink, run up to you, put his hands over the pistol, take it out of your hand. Like, he can do that. He has a way where he can stop you. So if he went out of his way to kill you, he's going out of his way to do so. But if Batman, he can't just run up to you and take the gun from your hand. If it's kill you or let the other person die, chances are he'll try to his best to stop the criminal without having to kill him.
Here's what he'll do.
Innocent.
Here's why I hate Batman. Here's why I hate superheroes.
Okay.
Their no killing makes no damn sense. Because they want to protect the world. They want to protect the innocent civilians, right? That's their whole shtick.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me this. How many people, we'll use this game as an example, how many people do you think the Joker killed in this game because Batman didn't kill him?
A lot. Okay, if I'm thinking correctly, through each location. Let's just every other death.
Let's just throw 100 people.
It's more. It's more than 100 people.
It may be.
If we take everybody that's on every field of north, east, south, and west Arkham, we take the people from the gas rooms, we take the people that are dead for like the Riddler trophies, we take the people. Let's assume everyone that Poison Ivy got her hands on is dead because they probably are. Let's assume Killer Croc got some
1,000.
people.
Let's just throw 1,000. We don't need the specific.
I think that's insane. I think that.
Let's just throw 1,000 in this.
That's
game.
a lot. Let's say like 200 to 200. Let's say 200.
More than 100, less than 1,000,000. Hundreds of people were killed in the aspect of one sense of this game. And you know what Batman's going to be at the end of this game? It's not worth it to kill Joker. I need to keep this world safe. As he's walking over the blood of hundreds of people that got killed because of him. Spider-Man. People die because the hero's like, I can't kill him. It'd be wrong to kill him. I don't care. And this could be me. I'm sure others out there agree. But I don't care that you kill the villain. I want to make sure I'm safe. Batman, the Joker's out there. Did he kill him? No, he captured him. Oh man, what if he breaks out again? We could be killed. I have more fear of that than, did he kill the Joker? Yeah, okay, we're safe. And I know they do it just so they can keep stretching on these comics. That's 100% the reason they don't. But you look at it from a logical sense, what the fuck? Batman, there's one of the comics, I think it's a comic or one of the movies, I can't remember which, but one of the things is Batman said if he kills the Joker, he would have no purpose in his life left. That's why he lets him live. And if that,
yes, it's a comic, and there's one comic variation that happened.
And that's what made me. I don't remember what I saw, but that's what made me really look at it. That's stupid.
Yeah.
He puts his mental health. This Batman bastard, who, by the way, Batman just sucks as a dude. He's a child. He's a child. He's an orphan.
Yeah, he's
an orphan. He's an orphan with parental issues. That's all Batman is. And
he is a character that belongs with with everyone else in Arkham. He belongs there.
Then why the hell is he protecting the people? He ain't doing shit. That's why I hate superheroes. At least these kinds that refuse to kill, they don't get rid of the issue. Batman here is like, you know what? Joker, you killed 1,000,000 people. I'm going to give you a slap on the wrist. Let's go take you to the prison you've broken out of a few times. I'll grab an ice cream on the way. It pisses me off. And like Batman specifically, I hate Batman. He's my least favorite hero. I would rather him burn than any other hero burn because of that mental. If I lose my villain, I have nothing left. I hate that he, at least in some iterations, he would put his mental health over millions of people. Mental health is important, yes, trust me, I know, but I want to feel good. I don't care if there's blood on his hands because I let him live. I want to feel good. It fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people have this problem with Batman. Also, another thing interesting, how many characters from Batman's Rogue Gallery, if they were here, like in America, how many would have the death sentence?
All of them.
I'm pretty sure But one thing that like protects them from such is that they are marked as clinically insane. Which one problem
Joker, I will
is,
agree with. He could be called clinically insane.
and so
Victor
once you
Freeze,
here's the thing, once you're clinically insane, here's the thing, once you're clinically insane, that's one thing is I no longer like that it is Arkham Asylum. They do not need to be in an asylum. They need to be
in the
like
fucking
black
ground.
that or maximum security prison. Maximum security, like they call it Blackgate. Let's call it Obsidian Gate. Let's call it just
Hellgate.
just
Let's call it Hell's Gate.
Hell's Gate. Sure, cool name. Hell's Gate Prison. It is for the biggest of big bads. It is for the most dangerous of dangers. They have cells made specifically for certain people. They have it contained in an area way that nothing for any of the villains to have advantage of is there. Like, they literally have entire sections for each character, maximum security, because all these characters are a global threat if not taken care of. One thing is that Batman is an issue, so is the government. It's a both. The way the DC universe is written is weird.
I want to say it's not so much the government in that issue. It's Batman's like, no, we shouldn't kill him. Because I know Batman has a lot of power. He's like, hey, don't do it. They're going to listen to him. He's like, no, we don't kill people. Killing people is wrong. But Batman, the Joker just murdered like an entire building of orphans. It's wrong to kill people. The Joker will live. But orphans, Batman. Oh, I'm an orphan. Did you know my parents were killed after we walked out of a movie?
It's like even if by his logic, which I'm totally on the sense of, oh, someone could be redeemed. He does it every time. Mm-hmm. Like he's not recovering. It's not Joker's recovering, right? It's not like he's a person getting better.
He gets worse.
He gets worse. And it's literally a sense. There was one comic. We're getting so off topic, but there was I'll say.
Damn it.
Let's get back to it. Let's keep going. There's a bunch of cool stuff.
I'm probably gonna cut out that little bit, honestly.
All that just to cut it out.
Anyway, we'll bitch about it, or I'll keep it. I don't know. Batman sucks. That's the end goal. Whatever happens after this point, Batman is arguably the worst hero ever made.
There's a bunch of people who would agree with you. There's a lot of Batman fans would agree with you. I agree with you, and I'm a Batman fan, and I agree.
It sucks. God, I could be a better superhero than Batman.
I think he's cool, and that's where I think he's cool. I think he's cool. I will say right now, you will literally. There's one. Have you played? Do you know the story of the Arkham games? You will love. I'm not going to say a word.
Oh, please tell me Batman gets the fuck beat out of him.
You will love a character in Arkham Knight. You will love a character. I'm not going to tell you who.
Deathstroke?
There's a character. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, come on.
I'm not going to.
If I get it right, you got to say it at least.
If you get one guess. If you get it right, I will say yes or no.
And it's not Deathstroke.
It's not Deathstroke.
Nightwing.
Nope.
Damn.
Moving on. Is a character you will love.
Deadpool?
Could you imagine Deadpool?
Well, I mean, it's Deadpool. That's entirely what he would do.
That I'd love that. Okay. Learning about Crocslayers is the only pathway through intensive treatment, to where literally they would just throw things of meat down. They wouldn't even bother. They would have a thing of meat. They throw down meat every other week and just try to forget he is there. To be Aaron Cash has beef. He literally has a hook hand because of the Killer Croc. Killer Croc literally ate his hand. But yeah, Battletrack's not through the facility, drugged by Scarecrow. Oh yeah, we were on Scarecrow. So yeah, he fights against Scarecrow, and we're at the point where he's inside, and then Joker aims a gun at you. He aims a gun at you, and you're not able to do anything, but then he shoots you, and he says, You lose. You're supposed to dodge the gun. Want to try again? You press retry, and it comes back to a cemetery with the title that says Batman, and Batman breaks out to get out of it. Oh, also, the thing is, you might want to keep the beginning of our conversation because that was actually leading up to this, and then
No,
we
I know.
went on a rant.
I'll
Yeah.
edit it tomorrow. See how it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, he looks around and there's a bunch of variations of him of different types of insane. Just kind of curled up, walking around, eating a rat, just kind of screaming. There's different versions of him, of variations of him being insane, which is one of his biggest fears, is that he is insane. And so you continue on through and you once again, round number 3, do the sort of side scroller of Scarecrow's level. But once you beat it, guess what? You're not done. You then appear inside of a cage area, basically kind of fenced off area, and you have to fight waves of enemies, which is kind of where we go back to the root of it all, just fighting enemies. But we got to play the side scroller a third time. You have to defeat that waves of enemy 3 times, which there are the skeleton characters, but you even fight a Titan skeleton character, which is cool. And then every time you beat a round of enemies, another light turns on. Once you turn on all 3, you finally defeat the Scarecrow. Scarecrow then escapes and he goes down into the sewer and you follow him. He's shocked and get to the lair. Scarecrow says he's going to put his toxins in the river and make it and have enough for all of Gotham to go insane. Scarecrow dangles it over the pipeline, threatening to drop it if Batman comes any closer. Which then, yeah, the entire city. But as he stands on the edge, Killer Croc jumps out and grabs Scarecrow. Which, by the way, from what we can assume, Killer Croc hasn't eaten yet. So he grabs Scarecrow, and after Batman hits him with a batarang to get him away, Scarecrow, the Croc was about to eat Scarecrow, and he goes back into the water with the Scarecrow after he was about to eat him. And we don't see from Scarecrow again. Batman ventures into the sewers and, despite frequent attacks from the Croc, gathers all of the required spores. Now, one thing that's super cool is towards the beginning, as you're about to enter, it's literally like a maze. And so what he does is he places a little beacon to the side and he puts something on the ground. I will say my example of how I say the boss fights aren't really the bosses themselves, it's the levels. Killer Croc's level is you have to carefully go through the map, through like the maze. You're detecting the spores and you have to go through the maze, and if you move too fast, he'll get you. And also at random segments, will he attack you? Once he's trying to attack you, you have to throw a batarang to hit the collar around his neck, which will make him fall over. Also, if you move too fast, he'll just grab you and get you. So you have to be careful moving through the map. And so it's kind of cool, and one thing is also later he does this thing where he does like a triple attack destroying the boards. You have to run during those segments. Also, eventually later, because of so many of them are destroyed, you actually have to use the zip line to get over these parts, where at some points Killer Croc even tries to grab you if it's a large point. Eventually you grab all the spores to try to start synthesizing a cure, and then you try to head back, and Killer Croc starts chasing you. As soon as we got to this chase sequence, it reminded me of Crash Bandicoot. Like the sections where you're running towards the screen, where you kind of go through a level backwards sometimes. It reminded me of like a Crash Bandicoot segment where you're just having to run to escape through. It wasn't for every part, but like through the beginning and then especially towards the end, you had to run through. Once you get towards the end, you then, earlier, before you even entered, you placed a little trap on the ground. You have to lure him close, hit him with the shock collar, and then explode the thing to hit him into the ground. And then you figure out that with the river is actually now toxic with all of the spores. So now you actually have to, you go back to the Batcave, you get an antidote, and Poison Ivy stops and taking over Arkham, as she actually has she hasn't fully taken over now. Once you're in the Batcave gets more destroyed, and you're actually given the upgrade for the claw, to where now you can break weaker structures. So if it's a levitated weaker structure and you can't use the explosive gel to get it, use the triple claw to get it. which was like they confused me for a while at first because I completely forgot about the triple claws thing. Um, but yeah, you create some cure, but you weren't able to create a lot. You were only able to create one dose. And so now you have one dose of it, and Ivy destroyed the area. You then escape with a little cool, like a little cool area where you're able to glide, because there's not really much area for you to glide, but there was a cool section to go around to escape through a back entrance to where you had a little gliding section you were able to do. So it was just a little thing to kind of show off the map. It wasn't anything massive. It was just a little extra filler, but you're able to get something interesting out of it. But you find out that with the pollution in the water, uh, he he intends to pollute the water so he's able to run off with his Titan production. But you're able to foil the plan by disabling 3 of the pumps, which one of these rooms is what has the multiple guards inside of the room, where you could get caught easily if you were not careful. Um, yeah, after you defeat it, then Joker's like, all right, well, that's it. Like, you stopped the area, but now I actually have a like I have a little gift arriving. Just wait there. And you're stuck in a room to where there's another Titan henchman and a bunch of enemies. But the Titan henchmen, you like there's also ways that enemies which you use the Titan just to get rid of the enemies, and then you end up going up the elevator to exit the underground. Afterwards, you travel back to the gardens where Ivy is, and where like you originally thought she originally thought the Titan was hurting her plants because in the beginning she even said that they were like calling out in pain, like they were not, like they were hurting, they weren't okay, they were getting weak. It's actually because the Titan formula, which she thought was hurting plants, was actually evolving them, making them much stronger. She eventually gets this super cool, massive plant thing, and she basically combines with it and controls it to where now she's able to fight the enemy with this gigantic plant. She fights with this gigantic plant, which is super cool. Earlier throughout the game, there's these little like spore things that shoot these orbs of the poisonous pollen, and now she's able to do it, and even in minigun fashion. But also, she showed earlier in the level when you first entered that she's able to, with her sort of hypnotic pollen, she's able to control guards. So she now has guards that she can throw at you to control. She has a little vine trap for the ground that you stand on depending on your platform. You have to avoid it. It reminded me of avoiding the rats and Plague Tale Innocence.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that.
I could see that. I 100% could see that with Vitalis.
Like the thing slamming down, it was just similar, but instead of going, it was down going up. It reminded me of that. But yeah, there was that, and then also if you managed to hit her and do a decent amount of damage, she would shoot multiple of the pollen things at you, and you also had guys chasing you around. I will say again how I say like the boss fight aren't the bosses themselves; it's sort of the level. This was super cool. This was definitely
boss.
this was a really cool one out of all of them. Is it my favorite?
It's the only
don't
boss
know.
of the game.
It's cool. It's really cool. Like the joke, like, yeah, like it honestly is probably the most fun out of the whole thing because you have enemies, you have I'm gonna say this, and this is probably gonna get some people upset, or maybe it won't. It reminded me of similar to how you would play Undertale, like you have different, like there's like different like patterns, but then more patterns are thrown at you. Which that's what an Undertale fight is. It's just patterns, and then there's more and more and more thrown at you. That's kind of what happened here. It was first the pollen shots, then the vines, and then the hypnotized people. And then it kind of just increased with every phase. And you had to hit at certain points. You weren't able to just attack. You had to attack at certain points.
This was definitely the best fight in the game. Best boss fight in the game, though. Because it had the most to it.
Yeah. It did. It had... I'm about to sneeze. Phases actually felt like phases. There was multiple attacks. Is it okay? And that works. That's gone. But it was super cool, and it was a very fun fight. And then she gets knocked down towards the bottom, and of course it's Batman. He knows like she's fine. She'll get back up later. And then you escape the collapsing building.
Yep. And then it's like the end because
hey, bro. including Eddie Burlow and William North. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So there's even some actual like characters that were hypnotized. Yeah, Iron Mage is defeated on the zombified guards, and Ivy and the plant sink back into the undergrowth.
Because yeah,
And
now
then here we are at Let the Party Begin. The entire night has been building up to this one moment, and emerging from the gardens, Batman learns that the Joker's party is about to begin. You head over to the visitor center, which has been recreated to match the Joker's style.
I
The
want to.
Blackgate.
I want to say you hit his face. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I saw that a little bit earlier, maybe like an hour or two prior. And I
Yeah,
saw
they're
it, I was
just
like, man,
that's why I went ahead. That's why I went ahead and mentioned it like at the beginning of the video, because I don't want to mention it every single time we pass by. But yeah, they've been like slowly throughout the game, more and more they're upgrading like Joker's face on this. Like, this is very clearly going to be something we come back to later. Like very clearly. I will say though, not everyone's super observant. So I promise you, some people probably passed it more than they did. But I noticed it was getting built over time.
I didn't.
But
I saw the end of it just because I needed to. I went from point A to point B. But whenever I finally saw it, maybe like right before the actual Poison Ivy stuff and all that, like maybe even before Croc and all this, I was like, that's Joker's face. Has that always been there? Am I gonna have to go there? That's what
they have.
it's like. Am I gonna
They
have
have
to go here?
it from the beginning of the game to then. They slowly upgraded it the entire game, which is cool. It's one of those things to where they didn't have to do it, but they did. It was another cool thing. There's one really cool thing that I want to talk about and we'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, let the party begin. And one I will say one thing is what something that's super cool is on the list. So there's the guy at the beginning where he's like, like let me see if you're on the list. It's B. Bane. It's Batman. He shows the list, and it's just Batman all in red on the list. There's no actual list. This guy was just making a little gag. Bane, B. It was super funny. But one thing that was hilarious is actually, if you look at it, if they did do a name by list, N comes before T, so it would go Bane then Batman if they were doing it alphabetically. So it was just a little joke in there that I noticed that I just love. It was a little thing they didn't even have to do, but I thought it was funny. But yeah, they showed those to Batman. You go inside. Here's the thing: I didn't punch a single one of the men. I let all the guys outside and then going inside. I just walked on through.
That made me uncomfortable.
It was so. Oh, let me find it. You just randomly texted me. Let me find it. It was like the same day you sent the other stuff. Can I find it? Can I find it? Where is it? No, it's not here. Oh yeah, here it is. You just randomly text me. You just said, I'm uncomfortable. It's just the pic. Like, you immediately entered the room and took a picture. It's just all the men just, yeah, woo, yeah, Batman, yeah. Special guest honor.
Yeah, I don't know why. Something about that, I was like, this does not feel right. Why?
Now tell me, did you fight everyone in that room or did you continue forward?
Did you fight him?
Yeah. You could the guy was like, it's Batman! You could literally immediately punch the guy in the face. You could do it. You could stop him, like, talking. You could be like, you could just beat all of them up if you wanted to. Also, do you want to know something about that room? That room, it's funny if you just let it be and continue forward, but that room actually gives you a lot of XP before you get... So let's say you're right there about to level up. That room allows you to level up.
I thought about it, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I want to attack this.
I was like...
Here's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Is if I had hit him, it would have been like, Batman, no, that's not the plan. They're normies. And you just die. I literally thought
that'd be funny.
Something would have happened.
No, you can just beat up everyone on that. And just you in a 1v, like, what? How many people? Almost like, so like 1v like 16.
Yeah, but
something.
It would have been even funnier. It's just like one of those sad fights. Like, Batman, we don't want to fight. Batman, this is supposed to be a party. Like, none of them fight. You just
hey, what you doing?
You have freaking Jim in the back just eating cake. No, Batman, no, I got cake. Bat. All right, now we can go to.
We're almost there.
I'm about to say we're going to the most disappointing part of this game.
and I know this. I remember you texted me like after you said you beat it, you had a problem with it, and I knew this was the problem. This was going to be one of your main problems leading forward because the ending of the game
I
makes
never said there
everything.
was an issue. I'm reading back. It's a Joker. Joker did the thing. Okay,
I
I'm
thought
at
you
the end
did.
beat.
Then maybe you said it at a later date. Maybe you said it at a later time of when you had your problems. I already knew. Maybe I just had it in my mind then, but I already knew you're gonna have a problem with the ending of the game. Dude. All right, I'll keep going. Inside the center, Batman, like you head forward and you see Joker, like you see a TV with Joker's thing. He's just a standstill, what seems like a puppet, but then you listen to it, it's like it's me. It's actually him. And he puts it down, and it's just a TV screen of him. He even looks at like they look at each other. He's like 10, 9,
Okay.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
One
3,
fun thing with
2.
that was when
The first person
this
was super
last
good.
that was weird, but also annoying. But I'll grab that in a second. But the last Scarecrow moment, you could act whenever the Joker who always talks in the TVs, that was the Joker marionette, the Joker puppet on the little TVs. I don't know.
Yeah, the puppet.
Yeah.
You want to know something? You know you saw the puppet before that.
I did not.
If when you go so earlier after like in the room where Dr. Young died and they and they got away with Sharp, in that room, if you looked to your right, there was a box containing the doll. There was a box right there containing him. I'm telling you, there are so many secrets in this game. But yeah, that was the first time you got to see Scarface. Was he was in the thing in the room. So it's another really cool thing in there. And you got some history with Scarface. Did you know that Scarface was made from a tree to where a murderer, I believe he was killed there or he was hung, and that doll was made with that tree wood.
Yeah.
I believe a part of all of them or a part of him was. And the ventriloquist, after he found him, believed that the spirit was like he was taken over by the spirit of the killer, and so that is how he himself became a killer.
Yeah.
Was he literally had, think of it like Two-Face scenario, but different. That's what the ventriloquist was.
This is going to be a really random poll, but I've seen a lot of dumb horror movies, and one of them is The Killer Sofa.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me. Look it up.
All right, fine. Like,
Yeah,
it's already late anyway. Fine, I'll waste a few
Sofa.
minutes. Killer Sofa is a 2019 low-budget, direct-to-DVD New Zealand comedy horror film written, directed, and produced by... What am I looking...
A man gets killed on a chair, and his spirit infuses into the chair. Anybody who sits in the chair he wants to kill, except there's one girl who sits in the chair who he falls in love with. I think is the plot.
I'm watching the trailer right now.
And it's one of those stupid things, and that's how I remembered Scarface is Killer Sofa. Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, no, like I want to say leading up to all this while you watch that, leading up to it was kind of anticlimactic for all this with Poison Ivy being the best fight in the game. Because right now we're at the end of the game. We're about to go into the final little 30-40 minutes of the game at most. And everything leading up to this was kind of meh. Because it always felt empty. Every little bit that actually happened leading up to this felt empty in the game itself. You collect like because nothing led into anything. It's just all right. Here's Bane. Okay, there's Bane. Oh, there's Harley. Yeah, there's Harley. Oh, look, Ivy. Yeah, there's Ivy. As opposed to, I wish it would have been something like a. You cannot progress until you beat the 4 of them. And I'm gonna use Danger. Have you done Resident Evil 8?
What? Resident Evil. I'm sorry. I want. All right. So how much is a ticket to go see this movie?
I bet it's.
What did I just? That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Can we go watch it?
Danger.
Can we go watch it?
Something even dumber.
Not now. Like in a minute. We're literally here at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
So as we go in, dude, also it's hilarious how Batman just kind of throws around these guys. He even does like the backhand thing.
yeah,
He goes in and Joker's talking with Scarface on his knee, and Batman's he's done. He's so done with him. He's going in. He beats all of these men, and then two Titan Field policemen were in there, just pretty much brainwashed and fueled up to attack Batman. And he goes ahead and lets them loose, and he has everyone just fight him. And when he loses, Joker whips out a gun filled with Titan. He's like, "Oh, this." He's like, he tries to hit Gordon with it, but Batman takes it, and so he starts to mutate. And the Joker's like, "All right, like, go ahead, you go ahead and mutate. Then go ahead, go crazy. Let's do this. Like, come on, I'm crazy. If you're crazy, then we could have fun. Like, this could be it. This could be the ultimate night. If not Gordon, then you. Let's do this." This was the Joker planned on escaping already. He was like, well, all right, let's have fun at least. And Batman resists the urge to mutate because for some reason, one thing, Batman does have a superpower. It's willpower. Like literally just it is will. But he has a super. You're telling me there's a fear toxin that could make 10 men insane, and he's just like, nah. And then he has this thing that biologically changes your DNA, and he's just like, nah. Like, I'll tell you what, this man never gets like, you know, like how you feel like throwing up and you can will yourself to not throw up. It's like that, but infinity. It's like that.
I'm going to give you a better example. This is going to sound so dumb. Have you ever seen the movie Chicken Run?
Yes.
Have you seen the Dawn of the Nugget, the Chicken Run sequel?
No.
I'm going to spoil it. So,
all right. I was gonna watch it.
it's on Netflix. I saw it like 3 times. I was in Louisiana.
I want to watch it.
But basically, I'll summarize. Chickens get brain controlled. They put on like a happy thing. They put it on. They get brain controlled to make it better. Ginger, the mom, you know, that from the original movie, gets it put on, and I can't remember her name. I cannot remember the name of the villain right offhand, but she keeps like cranking up this dial, and that's willpower right there, because as soon as you put it on, it's supposed to make you happy. It's a drug collar pretty much.
Yeah.
So here's what I would have liked to happen with this, because you did say that he does it to work on him pretty much, is which unfortunately didn't happen. I wish it didn't go this route. Me personally, I was very disappointed in how it actually goes, but like, I'm using this movie as an example, is she keeps cranking it up till it hits 10 on the dial. The dial changes to 10, and Ginger is still fighting back. Then she gets freed by Molly, they run off, and then it all takes effect. I wish that happened here.
One thing that would have been cool. Also, I think one funny thing is like, fine, yeah, like you're like playing hard to get. Fine, I'll pull out my secret weapon. He pulls out a feather. That was just funny. A little thing that actually like is fitting to Joker. It was like, fine. It's like, you ruined my night. Won't even transform, and everything's taken over, and you won't give me the one thing that I'm wanting. I have nothing to live for. And then he hits himself with the dart, and then it cuts off.
Yep.
And then we get the part that.
The news choppers. You know, I want to finish. I want to talk about this part.
Okay.
So, news choppers are flying around. Everyone's like, okay, there's shit going down in Arkham. Joker's taking it over. Batman's been here all night. Hopefully, the Dark Knight is doing okay. And then you see Titan Joker. Titan Joker looks like if Joker and Abomination from Hulk merged into one thing. And then he grabs Batman and throws him into the ring. And this is where he's like, come on, Batman, change. Let's both duke it out as monsters. And my thought going through my head is, okay, we're not going to duke it out as monsters. Batman's going to stay in his normal state, but he's going to hit a hell of a lot harder. He's going to have the buffness to him without being mutated, which I thought was going to be how this final.
That would have been so cool. That would have been cool if... Because he has the willpower. Like, okay, here's what would have been cool. He has to control his sanity. Yep. So think of it as like, just to take a Dragon Ball example, like Kale with like her legendary Super Saiyan, how she could go from like just like 2 to 2 berserk. That is example. He's stopping himself from going berserk. And he has to keep himself from doing that. So he has to focus. But Joker's trying to make him go insane throughout the fight. Mm-hmm. And he's struggling in the fight. So he's forced to, like, go insane for a moment, but even then, even after all this fight, and he knows he's about to go insane, like out of all this fights going on, let's say he weakens the Joker, but also he's starting to transform. Like he's beating the Joker, but now he's starting to transform, and he's at a point to where he can't take it anymore, and then he uses the cure. But at least we get a fight to where he's using it.
Yeah.
Like Joker gets something brand new and unique. Give Batman something brand new and unique. Give like heck, make him bigger. Like make him bigger.
Make him do like a Dragon Ball Z clash is pretty much what I wanted to happen.
Make him in the example of like when Goku starts on Namek to Super Saiyan buff Goku, like where he's just Giga buffed. Like do it like that. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And then like to where anything to give Batman. I will say this though. You know how I said like the explosive things, like the unique thing.
Yeah.
I will say this right now. Like so they fight for a bit. And I actually did die here once because of just the overwhelming like things going on. Like it's you can't touch the cage walls because there's a thing. Also, there's people with knives. Also, there's people with weapons, and I think there was a gun. I don't think there was. Then there's the explosive things, and then the people keep spawning, and then you have to take Joker out at a certain time. So you have to beat all of them. But if you beat all of them and Joker's then facing you, then he summons more people. They have to beat more people. So it's just kind of a thing to where it kind of got overwhelming at one point. I did die at one point. It kind of got me. Ended up what happens is that the Joker looks away and you're supposed to hit him with the triple claw, pull him down, he gets stuck, and then you just beat up his...
I also didn't say, but Batman injects himself with the antidote. One thing that pisses me off is he could have injected the Joker right there and just ended
he
it
could have.
quickly.
He could have given it to Joker. Well, because then he would have mutated, and he didn't want to mutate. He didn't want to change himself.
No, he didn't.
Another thing is because he'd probably go insane, like everyone else did.
Then
Joker, here's one thing. Joker kept his intelligence.
Joker kept the same.
Because he's insane already. Everyone else went insane. He's the same. Nothing changed with him.
So how do we know Batman wouldn't have?
I think that would have been the coolest thing if he kept the mutation and he kept his like brain, not because like yes, focus, right? Yes, he can focus, but also because he is insane. And it would have been interesting to continue the trilogy with that.
Yeah, have the Venom, have the Titan in him.
Yep. That would have been amazing.
That's one thing I wanted.
The trilogy is the Titan is in him, and he has to constantly keep check of it because the Titan's not. It doesn't take over him immediately because he is insane.
It's a symbiote.
He is fully aware, and this alone would have made me take the excuse that Batman has and you make it as an ongoing plot.
Yep.
That would have been amazing.
This is
I think that would have been...
This is Batman had the black Venom as a symbiote.
Sure. Yeah, actually, that would work really well.
I would have loved that. So then the fight actually starts on, and he's also like, you have Commissioner Gordon. It's like, we got ourselves a referee. He's over in an electric chair, and he just buzzes him every once in a while. And then the most anticlimactic, disappointing, saddening, pathetic, inexcusable waste of a quote-unquote final boss. You fight Titan Joker. And the way and Danger did bring it out. So what he does is Joker will summon out waves of enemies. You have to survive until he hops up on his little pedestal. He's like, "All right, watch this, world," and you survive waves of enemies, throwing them into the electric fence, beating the fuck out of them either way. Then you use your big old bat claw, hit him in the back, and pull him down. He falls to the ground. Magically, he turns around and falls. Makes no sense. Hits the ground, hits a slot of wood, breaks it a little bit in his massive long claws, because he has long claws, stab into the wood. You hit him 1, 2, third time, it's cinematic. You uppercut him, and you knock off a third of his HP bar. Rinse and repeat. Second HP bar. Rinse and repeat. Third HP bar. But except third time, he falls through the wood, falls down, and Batman kind of goes with him. Joker climbs up. Batman sprays some of the explosive gel on his hand.
Which I love, by the way.
That's cool. I
will say this. Here's the thing. Again, they took this thing that they made unique for Batman, which, again, I'm really thinking hard of either games, media, or anything, to where this explosive gel was a thing that was used a lot, and it wasn't, that I can ever think of. And what a way to what they took for their game, and they were, like, using it as the finisher for Batman. Mm-hmm. and did it in a very fun way. And I thought that was cool. And I think it would be super cool if you did a new game plus that you'd have that as an ability.
Like
I think
you'd
that'd
hit
be
like a
super cool.
massive, let's say 15 combo or
And
like 10 combo, it's just boom
and
explosion.
and, and let's say that way because it is an explosion. Let's say there's just a long cooldown to give his hand a break after literally blowing up his hand pretty much. I think it would have been cool.
And then you do that, you knock out the Joker with his explosive punch, which is cool. And then everything kind of starts going to normal. You get everybody cured. You see people with the Titan kind of start reverting back to normal. Island gets taken back over by Batman and everybody else. Joker gets put into custody again and just shoved down back into the asylum. And which Batman is like, all right, my work here is done. And then he leaves. And then after that, you also see like some of the Titan stuff. I think it was Titans, either Titan or Venom. I'm not sure which.
It was one of them. Without a doubt,
it's one of the Abomination mutations.
And in this, it's after the credits roll, and then and then you see one of the things in the water, and then out from the water, Killer Croc grabs onto it.
Bane's arm.
It was Killer Croc.
I could have swore it was Bane's arm.
I am very certain it was Killer Croc. I could be wrong. I am very certain it was Killer Croc, though.
But
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, let me.
Am I wrong? Because it could have been, because Bane was hit into the water while Croc was in the sewers. But I thought it was Scaly. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But
no, we were both wrong.
What arm grabbed it?
If I saw this, it's Titan.
Yeah, Titan. A huge arm comes out and grabs it. It's Killer Croc or Bane.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah. There's multiple of these crates.
I had Bane. You had Croc. And Scarecrow's one of them.
Oh. You know what it is?
Whichever one of them you like the most. The game knows. Wow.
It might be based off how much of the game you complete.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's what it is. Okay, well, so now you know. Which, okay, it's in this game, so now you know. Scarecrow does return, obviously. So now you know. Which, I mean, this is a thing in the game of the end credits. Yeah, I think it's based off how much you complete. I think it's Bane if you do a certain percent, Killer Croc if you do more, and then Scarecrow to show, yeah, he's not dead. Which, yeah, that is a thing used later. So, yeah, Scarecrow, he does live in the encounter with Killer Croc, and he is later. Now, this emphasized that they were going to do another game. And guess what? They hid the fact that they were making another game inside of their game, and they hid it for 6 months, and nobody found it. But after they announced they were making another game 6 months later, they told everyone where the room was. Which, honestly, part of me wishes no, they didn't. And they waited until someone found it. Like, who knows how many months it would have been until someone finds it. But there's a hidden room in the game. Let me find it again. I think it was in an office. Give me, like, a few seconds to find it. But there is a hidden... Found it. Hints about the events of Arkham City were tucked away in a room fans never found. And I am reading this off of a thing because I don't know about this all the way, so I'm reading this. I cannot repeat what they put in this thing.
Why not?
Okay. But they went ahead and put... No. They went ahead and said they started planning Arkham City 7 months before Arkham Asylum was even completed. This allowed the developers to include a hidden room which teased that it was what was to come in Arkham City. Unfortunately, the room was so well hidden that no players were able to find it. Basically, in the warden's office, there's a wall that is required 3 explosive gels of doses to knock it down. 6 months passed and nobody found the room, so finally Rocksteady threw up their hands and just told everyone how to find it. And the person who made this post said, I kind of wish they didn't. How awesome would it be if the secret wasn't discovered until like a decade later? there's many of those secrets in games where like it wasn't found until like
Oh, yeah.
there's those stories where it's like a year later, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, a decade. There are many of those. This would have been one of them because it is not even a wall that like, oh, you see with detective mode. You have to go to a wall and hit it in the warden's office with 3 things. And I think the hint was hidden on one of the maps. There's a thing in the room to where there's a map of the building. So you know where, I think it's where Scarecrow, so there's a secret room. Do you know when Scarecrow goes down the elevator?
Yeah.
There is a vent there. Did you go in that vent?
Maybe.
Inside the vent, you go into a room where there's so many blueprints. And it's Jonathan Crane's plans.
Yeah, I did
One
see
of
that.
them,
I thought that was
I believe,
Scarecrow's lair.
I think one, it's Scarecrow's lair. I think one of the maps showed where that secret room was. Like, if you looked at the maps, I think one of them showed where the secret room was in the office. I believe. If I'm correct, it could be not, but
It's a shame
very
I'm never
certain.
going to play this game again to know.
But yeah, it's hidden in there. If you want to go find it, it's super cool. Also, so yeah, it basically it shows the plans of there being Arkham City, of what the plan for the next game is. So it kind of spoils it, but also it was right there in this game, and there's so many things hinting towards it. Do you want to know another really cool thing? And this is in this game as a secret, but it is a spoiler to the next game. Do you want to know, or do you want to be kept in the dark about it?
I don't care either way.
You don't care either way?
No.
Okay. One of a really cool Easter, one thing is if you looked around, you would have seen it. So, but it's there, but it's one of those things where you have to be very observant. I learned with this game, and what this game I did is to be very observant. So I did know a lot of these things. This one I didn't catch. I caught it the first time, but I didn't catch it until later. Towards the area where you find Dr. Young's office, somewhere within that area, I don't think it's close to it, like next to it, but it's in that building. There is a room to where there's a bunch of bodies held, and one of the bodies on the toe says it is the body of Ra's al Ghul. After you find the Riddler trophy, and later on in the game, towards the end of the game, his body is gone. Ra's al Ghul is a character that, if you don't know, I mean, you probably do, he's a character that resurrects. He's a character that comes back to life. He's just a character that doesn't die. And he is one of the characters that do appear in the next game. And it's teased throughout the game that Scarecrow returns and that Ra's al Ghul is going to be in the next game. And the secret room tells you about what's going to happen in Arkham City. Not everything, but it does tell you about it.
Interesting. I did not know that.
It's very cool. It is very cool. There's more I want to talk about. There's so much more I want to talk about, but then that's going even beyond to the next games, and we're saving those for the next games.
Yeah, more Batman.
Like something that's not in here, but it's explained later that appears of something in here, but it's that I'm going to talk about.
More Batman.
I will say one thing. Oh yeah, they were also going to, apparently one thing is that the Scarecrow sequence was initially going to have eternal darkness like sanity effects.
God,
Yeah, basically there's going to be more things like fourth wall breaking. There's going to be things like more fake like reboot screens, and one thing is they didn't want to worry about people legit, like even like told you back in the day, if your game glitched out, it did. Like I even thought the game crashed for a moment. They wanted to go a little more beyond that and legitimately make it look like your game was breaking or loading for too long, but they didn't want to do that in the sense of they didn't want to make people think their game was that. Yeah, like the extent.
So what they tried to do is they tried to turn Scarecrow into Psycho Mantis.
They tried to turn him into a fourth wall breaker with the fear gas and whatnot.
Psycho Mantis.
To even make the players think they're crazy, or they're like. Well, here's the thing. What did I tell you about my worry about the disc, that it's breaking? I'm scared that it's going to break. And so it would be the sense to try to put fear in the players that they think their game is broken. So that's what they wanted to do, but then people may legitimately think their game was broken. I will say, though, that is amazing.
That sounds cool, but I also at the same time don't like it because it just sounds like they're recreating Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear.
Another thing is that Batman's explosive gel is actually whipped cream. It's literally a whipped cream can that they used for the look and the sound, apparently. Which I just think is so funny. They develop
All right.
They did.
Good for. Or let's go to our final bits.
Last thing, the game's combat originally played like something out of Guitar Hero, and I don't know if I'd like that or not. But that is that it says here
Okay, so
that's what it.
that's like sounds like quick time. That literally means combat would have been quick time event.
Torn from rhythm games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. And the games would end up going into a 2D perspective if you had a like basically they also wanted to have a mechanic to where and some fights would go to like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter for some fights, which honestly if the fight I don't know, I think that would have been interesting for certain characters or segments, but I don't think it'd be cool for everything though. No.
That would have been so dumb.
Yeah, I mean it was an idea they had, and yeah, they didn't go off it. But yeah, I think what they did with the game was super cool. I loved the game. There's a lot in this, and there's a lot more secrets. Again, there is so we just don't have the time. We've been recording for so long. We don't have the time, but there is so much about the game. I'm going to tell you this: if you have Batman Arkham Asylum, please play it and look through like the game. The Riddler trophies, let me say this, the Riddler trophies, people don't like them. They reward you. They reward you for playing the game. It gives you a lot of experience for your Batman to continue to get upgrades and stuff. You unlock a lot of bonus levels. You unlock trophies. You unlock like information. You unlock bios. It is such a cool thing. And I love it. And I at some point want to continue it, maybe tomorrow even, and just play more of it to figure out more of the secrets that are hidden in it. Like I want to finish the game. I'm close. I have like I don't know, I think I have like 180 of 240 trophies. So I still have a lot that I'm missing, but it's really cool. The tapes, amazing. Voice acting, amazing. Also, Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn were all played by the same person. They were all for all their animations. They were all played by the exact same person.
Oh, you mean for the
one
capture?
guy? Yeah, one guy did all of that, which is hilarious. Which I honestly think is amazing because that means that this guy was able to do like backflips and stuff.
Yeah, and what do you expect? He's got to be. So
it was hilarious.
Final
and
talks.
I will say,
Final talks.
Final talks. I love this game. I think it's a good game. I think that it is an enjoyable game for anyone to play at least once. It is an enjoyable, fun game. Am I going to say this is like 10, 9, 8? No. Not 10, 9, 9, 9, 8 at all. I will say, though, and I think I've said this twice now, maybe, that I could, if someone wanted to know about Batman, if you didn't know anything about Batman, I would give you this game, tell you to play it for play it, be very observant, try to find the things in the game. And this game gives you a lot of information about Batman's characters, about how their personalities are, about what they do, and almost everything in this game is universal except for Bane. Bane is one of the things that is not universal. Bane has like different variations, and its most popular one is not that one. But for the most part, a lot of it is in here. There's a lot of secrets. If you are not a fan of Batman, you're going to like this game. I think you'll enjoy it playing it at least once. If you're a Batman fan, I think you'd love this game if you have not played it yet. And I think it is super cool. And yeah, I really like this game a lot. I am stuck between giving it a... I think for personal, I'm going to give it an 8. But it is purely personal. This is not the actual rating I'm giving it. It's just me, myself. I really enjoyed it, and I give it an 8. But I was to give you an actual rating for the game, I'm stuck with... I think 6.5 I feel like is good, but I think I might just go down to like I'm stuck between 6 and 7. So I think 6.5 I think 6.5 is a good number to give it. I myself think it's an 8. But putting Batman aside, just the game itself, it's an enjoyable game. I think someone should play it at least once, and if they enjoy it, play the rest of the games. If you don't, then and I will say this, each game's better than the last. Some people think the second's better than the third. But most people agree, like some people think Asylum's the best. I will tell you, I think the previous game is better than the last game for all three. Very.
So,
Yeah.
Batman.
Do you got a lot of ranting to go for?
I'm gonna stay calm. I'm not gonna rant.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
bitch, but I'm not gonna rant. So,
Okay.
Batman Arkham Asylum. My dad played this whenever I was younger. Borrowed it from my sister. I watched him play it back whenever I thought Batman was cool. Because I never told Danger this, but I knew I had some vague memory of this game going into it, and I remember it looking really cool when I was younger. Most things I remembered Bane. I remember being terrified of the Bane sequence when he was strung up, because maybe I was 10, 11 years old. I don't know when this game came out, but I wasn't a teenager yet. So it's been a while. And I was terrified of that. I saw that in this game, and it was terrifying, but then the sequence that came after it was awful. Harley Quinn. I didn't remember anything about her, so I couldn't remember much about that. Her segment was just kind of done very poorly. This game has the syndrome of symptoms of just one-off villains. All of them are just one-off villains, no matter how it goes, as none of the villains really tie into each other that lead into it. Okay, what villain is this? Oh, well, they've got this one next. And that could be me bitching 100%. But all of it going through, leading up to the final fight, I could give this game... I could forgive this game for a lot of its sins it actually has. The combat got very repetitive because its stealth sequences, Danger talked about, I broke the stealth sequences. That's what I do. I love breaking games. I broke stealth sequences more than once. I beat the fuck out of enemies with the guns. It was fine without it. Enemies, I wish this game had more enemy types, because you have normal dudes, you have knife dudes, you have stun baton dudes, you have gun dudes. Then you have crazy dudes. 5 enemy types, yes. And I guess giants in there too, but they were so infrequent. I don't know if you want to classify that as an enemy type. But the fact that they made a boss into an enemy type, I don't like games that do that. I hate games where it's like, okay, this is the boss. Little bit like Last of Us. I like the bloater. We'll use the bloater as a prime example, because the bloater is a boss. But then later on throughout the game, it becomes a somewhat more normal enemy. There's not a lot of them in the game, but it's a more quote-unquote normal enemy. I hate games that do that, because a boss is not, okay, because bosses are not, let's fight this thing, all right, now you're stronger than this. A boss is meant to be a challenge point. So the fact that they made Bane and his little archetype a common, we'll call it common enemy, annoyed me. Leading into all of it up to the final bit of it too, Ivy, I said Poison Ivy was probably the best boss fight in this game, but that's not a high bar to beat. Bane, you throw batarangs at him, you punch him. Very, very basic, which sucks. Bane should have had so much more to him. Harley Quinn, you just are in an electric generator area. That's kind of it. Zaz, I can't remember what you actually do with Zaz. He explodes. He just gets knocked out, doesn't he?
Yeah, literally, Zaz, what he does is he just holds people hostage. You just gotta get him without him. You gotta get him without him seeing you. So that's his gimmick, is that he.
But so I think
they could have done something with that. Honestly, they could have probably done something with that to where you're in a room, and like maybe it's in a room to where like lights flash, and he's like looking around frantically instead of just in one direction. Like, you got him the first time, get him the second time, and then there's a third time. Like, let's say maybe he has Commissioner Gordon or something later on in the game, and the lights are flickering, and he's looking around frantically. And if he catches you in the light, then you're over.
And then what you just said right there is another issue I have. It said first, second, third time. No. I don't like the games that do the repeat sequences like that. And then it goes into Scarecrow. Scarecrow was cool. My favorite out of all of it was the third sequence of it, where he like takes over the game itself. It's not Batman Arkham Asylum, it's Joker Arkham Asylum. Then all that stuff. That was definitely cool. The first little part, Second part, it was hilarious. I don't know why. It was hilarious watching Batman's parents die and just flop over in front of him in the T-pose.
So evil.
All that was just kind of boring. But the little platforming part was fun. I wish what they did with that was they made it all one long sequence. Make it an hour of the game. Like, give him his own little sequence as opposed to, ooh, he's here, ooh, he's there, ooh, he's here. Like, because you have Ivy was her own little chunk. Bane was kind of his own little chunk. It led up to that. Harley Quinn was her own little chunk. All of that led up to it. He should have been his own personal chunk. Batman going through his own personal hell. And the way that it started was it literally returned to the get-go, the beginning of it, where, you know, he's being taken into the asylum. Like, kind of flip all of it. But I don't like that they split it up. And then he just kind of got out of existence. He got drug into water by Killer Croc. We didn't even fucking beat him. That was pathetic. And then Joker. Batman's arch enemy, who, you know, he's a clown, but everybody knows the Joker. He turns into a Hulk. And you don't fight him. That's so pathetic.
Yeah, like combat. There's no like new combat thing or interesting. Like they could have totally used the mechanic of like with the exploding fists. That should have been
the final thing.
That should have been in the beginning of the fight. That should have been the very beginning with his buff body and now a new gimmick. With his buff body and a new gimmick, he has a chance to beat the Joker. So he's not full on out. He's more contained, so he's more fast. And so now you no longer are using gadgets for this fight because now the gadgets are going to work on Joker, except for the explosive one. But now you have this buff Joker, or not Joker, a buffer, stronger Batman, a gadget idea that can work. Maybe he has like one arm, like 3 batarangs for like a Wolverine type thing, one with the explosive, and he kind of just resets it. And you now have this character with new combat abilities, and it's brand new. Nothing that's happened in the game yet. So you have this fresh new thing that feels completely different. So not only is the boss different, but you're different. And then they could have gone all out with animations here.
So
for like fighting.
So
and if they wanted to,
here's how they could have done it.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna use one of your favorite games. I'm gonna use Spider-Man as a prime example. So we're gonna use Dr. Octopus because whenever Peter fought Ock at first, he got his butt handed to him, and then he made an anti-Ock suit.
Mm-hmm.
Batman should have fought Abomination Joker, lost, and then quickly went to the Batcave, did his stuff, which is his explosive fist, and then like buffed up there. Went and fought him, that should have been the lead up to it. That's where it's like, hey, you're invited to the party. Come on, and then do that. I'm not gonna.
But you know when he loses to the Joker and he goes back to his Batcave. He's trying to desperately find a cure, and there's no cure, but there's enough. There is enough for him to contain himself, so he's not cured, but it's contained as long as he doesn't go insane. And then that could be the plot for the next 3 games. He took a bit of the serum.
It's a could at this point. I'm not going on.
I know. Obviously, he could.
What is? And the fact of the matter,
yeah,
Joker's fight was ass. You know what you did in his fight? You fought goons. And pulled him to the ground and hit X twice. 4 times. 6 times? 6 or 7 times. The fuck is that? That's a fucking pathetic-ass boss fight. Sea of Stars had a better final boss fight.
Yeah.
I played all this game 6, 7, 8 hours to hit Joker 5 times? Call it good? That's ass.
Yeah.
People out there, I don't understand why this game is so highly praised. I really don't. The combat is monotonous because it's just mashing the X button 5, 6, 7 times, mashing the Y button to counter. You can throw a gadget in there, which is just a battering, unless you do the like remote control to the supersonic or the triples. But that's really all you can do for the combat. The combat's very basic. Yes, I know it's an older game, but I can go to older games that had much more combat to it. I mentioned Jak and Daxter earlier. Jak and Daxter 3 had much more combat stuff to it than this game did. And it was in PlayStation 2 era. Like 2004, maybe 5? Maybe. It was in that era. And this game came out at least in probably 2010, 2011. Danger will probably know the specific day on what year it came out. But
it was
but it was Xbox 360 PS3 era.
It's not as old as I thought it was. I'll get up real quick.
Whatever era it is, it's Xbox 3 it's PS3 Xbox 360 era. And you're telling me that games on PlayStation have better combat? Ratchet and Clank. You can do more shit in Ratchet and
2000,
Clank.
2009.
2009. Okay, that would make sense, yeah. So you're telling me that Ratchet, like, well, you even do Ratchet and Clank, these lower games from PlayStation 2 have much more detailed combat than this? Really? I don't, smaller studio or not, really? It's a waste of a game. This game, going into it, I thought it was going to be cool. I'm severely disappointed through and through. Not even as a Batman hater. Yes, I'm a Batman hater. Fuck Batman. I will admit to it. But even as a non-Batman, this game was a disappointment in every aspect. Nobody got their comeuppance. Nothing happened. You know what's going to be? Batman will sleep, and this could literally happen again tomorrow. That's terrible.
I will say this on the defense of the game. The only Batman game that did better than this was Lego Batman. There was no. I will say this.
How much competition did the game have, though? Because if you throw that,
and that's what I was about to get to. This game, there was no super good Batman game. Not only was there no super amazing Batman game like this at the time. One, no Batman game at the time that was like this. Two, the Batman game that people were gonna get, they didn't make. People were devastated that they were not getting a Batman game. There's a Batman game that I got this. That we were like not gonna be able to get. Now we got a game, and this Batman game was made for like, I'm gonna phrase it like this, and this is like. And I mean, it's obvious whenever a game is made for a character, it's made for them. This is made for Batman fans. There's a lot of story for Batman into this game, and this is just a Batman video game for you to play. That's not Lego Batman for those who want a more serious, more dark, more not devious. What's the word I'm looking for? Just a
darker tone game.
A darker tone game. Yeah, I'm trying to find a word, whatever. Find a darker toned game that people were able to play. Gruesome. There you go. There's a word. That's actually probably the one I was looking for. But it is this interesting game that has a new twist that people have been waiting for, and it was really good. And this was a game that even on release, if it was a game by itself, again, like I said, every game. Like, the next game was better than last, and then the next game was better than before that. This game came out with them already working and preparing, and before this game even came out, they were working on the sequel for this game. So it was since that already, and they literally made it aware 6 months later that they were already, like, so advanced on the next game already. So it's not like they released this game, and then we're like 4 years later, the next game came out. Like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Let me see the date real quick for my defense to have ground.
Your ground still doesn't, because I'm gonna throw a good example at you of game versus game. Mario versus Sonic, 2D platformers were both out around the same time.
2 years. Then the sequel came out 2 years later, and the sequel to is amazing. And I'll let you continue. I just wanted to let you know that it was only a 2-year difference, and it's massive difference in comparison to the first one.
But we'll use Mario and Sonic as an example, or hell, Dino Crisis versus Resident Evil, because those came out very similar. Because I have both the games, not even flexing on my shit. I'm using those as examples. They're very similar games. They came from the same company, but they're very similar games, and these two would duke it out with each other. That's competition. Did Batman have any competition at the time? Because here's the question.
I was just trying to give you an explanation of why this game was so loved. I was just trying to give you that explanation.
And that's the point I'm saying is, if it's the only one of its kind, it's like Star Wars. I don't like Star Wars. I hate Batman more than I don't like Star Wars. But because Star Wars is so nostalgia burned to death. I feel like Batman's kind of the same way, and we'll use Star Wars as an example on that. When Star Wars came out, there was nothing else like it, and that's why it got so popular. Were they good? Me personally, I don't think so. So look back at Batman compared to any other game that was out. Was Batman good because it was good, or are these Batman games good because there's nothing else that was made to compete with it? had there been, let's say if there was another superhero game that was put out at the exact same time that was a day better than this one, would Batman still be looked at as good as it is today, the Arkham series? Or would it just be, okay, it's a superhero game that's kind of gone to the wayside? That's the way I see it, is it had nothing to compete with, so of course it was the best. But if you're the only one competing in a race, of course you're going to win. And that's what I feel like Arkham Asylum kind of was, is nothing else competed. So, of course, it's like, oh, it's the best! It's the best! Because nothing else.
I will not say it's the best. Again, like I said,
I'm talking the Arkham's itself. And
yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I
haven't played the others. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm going to say, but using this one here, because I've heard a lot of good one about this. I hear this one is, I've heard this one be called the best more than I've heard the other two.
I have heard people say that Arkham Asylum is the best. I actually know someone who said that, and I mean it's opinion based at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I will say this: this was for my. Okay. At the time, it was released in 2009. It was a game that came out right after. So if I told you this, EA Games has wasted over like $100 million to make a Batman game. You literally were you're about to be given a Batman game that was over $100 million. Now you have this company of 40 people, and at the time it's 40 people working on a Batman game, and you, like, literally, it's like if this huge company with millions of dollars could not build a Batman game, how could like 40 people and like 2 years, like 2-3 years, how in the world could this team even compete with that? What game could they possibly make that would be in any way enjoyable and would probably just seem like a game that was made by a couple of just fans? It's not even that good. And nobody thought it was. No, like, I feel like at this point, like, yes, people were desperate, but also people are disappointed. And one thing is, I feel like Batman, if I told you a game was being released, a massive title being released by a small group of people, I feel like you want to look at this game and be like, this is going to be an absolutely amazing game. This game that came out by these people are amazing. Another thing is they are definitely fans, as a lot of work went into this game.
I won't disagree.
I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did disagree that a lot of work was. Just for the video, yeah. Like, I'm not saying you're disagreeing to that point, but it's to the point of this game was better than what people expected. Again, even now I'm playing the game, and here we are in a time now, and I still really enjoy the game. It is simple, so a lot of people are able to pick it up to enjoy it for the sake of Batman. It's a video game, but it is a Batman video game. It's for Batman. When, yes, there's no competition at all, so there's no bar to have. The bar's pretty low after everything that's gone on. They already made a decent game, have a bunch of lore, a bunch of bonus content, and a bunch of things for you to be able to have within the game. And it's cool. There's unlockables. There's an armored Batman, which they didn't even need to put in there, but they put as a little unlockable for bonus stuff. There's a lot within the game for people when they had nothing to have. So is it a good game? Like, if you took the game by itself, it's an okay game. It's not the greatest game, but with all the Batman stuff, all the things that people have been wanting, we finally have one. And that was the mere stepping stone when they planned for an even better game, when they had more time, more plans, knew what they were doing, had a set stone. Batman Arkham Asylum is a set stone. It is a placeholder for a bar. They set the bar, and they wanted to surpass that, and they did. Batman Arkham Asylum, if you want to look at it, is a bar that didn't exist yet. If you want to look at it that way. Is it the greatest game? No, I don't think so. Is it, if you took the game by itself, is it that good? No. Am I going to give it any higher than a 7? No. Did I bring it down to 6.5 because I don't even want to give it a 7? Pretty much. But it's a good game, and it's a good game to set a bar. And that's what I think it is. I think it's a bar. So I feel like if any game is better than this game, it can, in my opinion, it could be a 7 or above.
I mean, and I know this game is absolutely used as a bar when it comes down to other ones. That's why. But also at the exact same time, Spider-Man. I would say Spider-Man's a better game than this one, and we all know how much I felt about Spider-Man. and I've seen a lot of them still trying to compare that this one is better than Spider-Man, which I will disagree with every day of the week. I don't like Spider-Man, the game anyway. This game doesn't top it. This Spider-Man is the unfortunately now the bar of those kind of games, which is fine. Spider-Man did it well. This one, because it was much more open. This one, I know it's limited to Xbox 360, PS3. Yes, I understand. Smaller company too. It's not Insomniac making it, but no, this game gets a 4. It's a 4 across the board. Story, story
I understand it being a 4. Like, I'm not going to argue with you on that.
Story was mediocre. I'll be honest. I'll walk away, and I may not remember anything about this game. I may or may not. I'm not entirely sure. Combat was bleh. Bosses were bleh. Voice acting was fine. Voice acting was
and
done very well.
I will say, I did want to mention it earlier in the video, but I didn't.
To Conroy.
To Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy did pass away earlier this year, and it was very unfortunate. Kevin Conroy was the Batman. He voiced like over 90% of anything Batman in media. He was the Batman, and so it was very unfortunate whenever he passed earlier this year.
And
that's what made me want to play this game again and get into Batman, just to kind of remember the times, because I kind of fell off with Batman, but I missed the old Batman stuff, and it's enjoyable.
And so, because that right there, voice acting helps it, and the game doesn't look bad for being 2009. It doesn't look bad, so I'll give it that too. But it's kind of where you draw the line. Fighting was boring. World was eh. And the Riddler trophies were fine, but it's nothing super nothing challenging. It's like, okay, puzzle. Here's a puzzle. Go do this puzzle. It's wait till this point of the game. I now have the gadget. Let's go do it. Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation had the exact same thing, but you also had you know, Alien Isolation, you couldn't go through this door until that thing was going on, but it was much more worth it to go there later. This one is, I can't get this trophy until I get this gadget. I don't like the progression is fine, but you at least gotta have another way around. I don't like that. And like I said, the bosses. God, the bosses were so boring. Because they weren't even fights. Okay. Bane was, and Ivy was. That's
one thing I wanted to say. I think Bane would have fit better if they put him towards the beginning of the game. If they didn't introduce the mutant and Bane was the first time we fought him.
Yeah,
because you know the habit of how they'll end up taking a boss and kind of just make it into an enemy later in the game.
Like how they did.
Like in Parasite Eve, like they did a similar thing to where it was a big boss earlier, now it's just an enemy you run into. So I think they could have done that with.
I'm gonna throw that one out of the way because you only fight the crocodile once outside of the beginning thing.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, it was just the first game that went to my mind that was recent that we did on the channel. So I was doing an example by the channel, but yeah, just it was a big enemy at first, now it just becomes a normal thing later on. There's a lot of games that do that. I think Bane would have been perfect if he was earlier in the game. If he was like the first boss you fought in the game, and then you later learn, like it would have. Here's the thing, that would have worked better, but then also it would have gotten rid of the whole Joker has a plot since the very beginning. There's a plot in play for the whole thing, so it's like. Bane was the reveal, but then that was it. Bane should have had more of his level.
Here's what it should have been: is Bane had that whole system going up, it all gets pumped into him, and his immediate response is, "This is wrong. This isn't right," and then he mutates and goes insane. Then he dies out after that. That way, it'd still kind of fit in with it. He would get the whole new archetype added, and then way later. Like, I want to say anytime you dealt with the Joker in any capacity, like he was in the room, you fought a big boy, it should have been way later in the game. Like, you should have fought those bulky guys twice in the game. Once was Bane, once was at the end of the game when you take on the two of them. That make them a lot harder, as opposed to just, here's a big group of them, there may be a big one in there. Because I think you took on maybe 10 big guys for the entire game.
You're talking about the big guys.
The Bane likes. The Bane.
Yeah. Beginning of the game, there's 2 in the cell. There's 2 in that one room. 1. So you fought like 7
Then you
to
have
10.
two.
So let's
Then
say
you have
let's
two
say like
before
let's say
10.
like 6. Let's say 6 to 10. 6 to
Yeah.
10.
So I don't like that. I don't like that he got reused that much. So I have a big complaint with that. So yeah, this game overall just gets. I'm sorry, Batman fans, and I'm not even hating on this as a Batman because I hope we've been doing this for nearly a year now. So whoever listens to this stuff avidly, I hope you realize I don't just hate to hate. I will, even if I don't like a game, I will see the light in there, or I will see the light shining through the bad. I think has realized this, as no matter how much shit I talk on something, I'll still love it, or how much I love something, I'll talk shit on it. And I can see some of the enjoyment in this one, but I would recommend not playing it. This is one of those games, the few games I'll say watch somebody else play it.
You know what? I will say fair. If you're a Batman fan, please play it. But if you're not a Batman fan and you're interested in the later ones because so many people have recommended it to you, sure, yes, just watch someone play it.
It's 6
If you want
hours.
to,
You can watch it
yeah,
in 2
it's
days.
you could watch someone else play it and then you play City or Night, but they are really good. The later games are really good. Again, I will be able I'm able to be okay with how Arkham went out because of City. If City never existed, then I would not be defending Arkham so hard. If City was like 5 years later, again, would not be defending it so hard. But again, and then yeah, and you know what? To be fair, I will lower it to a 6.
I'm
I
not.
really want.
You
I'll
put
lower.
whatever score you.
I know.
Have.
Here's the thing. I do want to lower it to a 6 because I think it's a good bar for a 6. I think it's good. I think for a general bar, because if it's higher than that, here's the thing, if it's higher than that, if it's higher than Batman for me, like, and I mean, and not even personal, I think it's a good game. I think it's an okay game. I think everyone should play it once. I think everyone should play it once. And I think a lot of people would enjoy it, and I think it would be able to get a lot of people into Batman. I feel.
And that's another thing I never got. I won't disagree with. It's a very. It dips your toes in the water of Batman, and it doesn't the exact same time because you're going to have some things that if you're a casual player, you're not going to understand all the stuff in here. So you're going to like Scarface. Oh, you don't know enough about Scarface, so that's a random thing. He's just a puppet. Clayface. He's just a dude. So this one is good to kind of slowly get you introduced to it. I will not lie, but game wise, don't play it. Don't play it. Don't go play. Danger would disagree, but I would say play Silent Hill over this.
No, are you kidding me? No, I rated.
This isn't even me being like hating on it. This is legitimate because I know not.
No, you have very different video game preferences.
Not everybody's gonna like Silent Hill.
I know, and
I would see, but I would tell people. In a group of 100 people, I would tell those people play Silent Hill before play Arkham Asylum. And it sucks. I wanted to like Batman. I wanted to like this game, but man, superhero games suck. So yeah, I got my overall verdict is a 4 on a good day.
I am okay. Well, hold on. I was with you for like a whole second there.
It's a
yeah.
3 on a. It's a 3 on a bad day. 4 on a good day.
Go back. Okay, 4.
No,
okay.
It's 4 on a good
4
day.
and 6.
3 on a bad day.
Go. Okay.
3.5.
Generally, what you can get from this, I know we don't do like that. It very much we're very towards the even sides. Like rating it for you guys, we're more towards the center. For our own opinion, we're further across. He really doesn't like it, but he would say it's an okay game to play. I feel like you should play it at least once. I myself I've played it twice and will probably play it again at some point in the future and 100% it. But very different opinions, but yeah. Generally, all in all, it's not a horrible game.
It's not.
It's not a horrible. It's
not a horrible game.
It's not a horrible game. I would. It's not a bad game. It's not an amazing game at all. It's not an amazing game.
This is a bad game.
I'm so tempted to play that.
It's a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, for the GameCube. I love the GameCube, dude.
This is a mediocre game. If we ever play this one will be my bar of 3.
That'll be your bar of 3. Not even 2. It'll be 3. Wow.
Danger. I have a 2, and I have a 1.
You gotta tell me what they are after this. Video.
And I have a -1.
Wow.
I think you know what one of those are.
Excuse me. Maybe. Probably.
But We are now going out of Gotham tonight.
Yep.
It's dark. It's been too dark and dreary. We are going to, I believe it's somewhere in Seattle. We're going to a nice school known as Blackwater, college, Blackwater University. Join Max Caulfield and her friend, estranged friend Chloe, as Max gets new powers that allow her to kind of fuck up with time a little bit. We're going to be playing Life is Strange next. One of my personal favorite games. And I'll also warn people out there, this will be a slower paced game. Every game we've played so far has been a very fast paced game. I cannot think of any game we've played that is slow paced to this degree.
Okay, to that degree. Okay, that's different. I was about to say, we've played a few slower games.
Because this game, I'll warn people out there who may not want to listen to it. You may want to, you may not. It is a narrative where you choose what you say and what you do. And oh boy, is it going to be fun. So, Danger gave this game a 6.5, a 6.
I'm going to say a 6. I'm going to say a 6 instead of 6.5. I'm going to say a 6. And it's because I'm thinking of the future games and what my bar would be above. So I am going to give this game a 6.
I'll give this game a 4.
Yeah.
I'll keep it at a 4 so it has a 5. So it's definitely, so this equates to a game. If you have the ability to play it once. I would recommend not going out of your way to play it though.
I think if you have it and if you enjoy Batman, play it at least once. And try to go for because you're only playing it once, try to go for the hidden stuff. And then choose if you want to continue to play it again or if you want to complete it. But if you're not the biggest Batman fan and you're interested in playing the later one, then at least watch someone play it. And City, I promise you, Hayden, you will enjoy City more. You will enjoy
You know what? I was going to make a face. I prefer Spider-Man 2 to Spider-Man by like a landslide. So you know what? We'll see. I'll have hope for the next one.
Yes, do, because I do think you will enjoy it more. There is many of the things that do kind of repeat over, but I think the story is better, and I think a bunch of gameplay mechanics are better.
All right,
but we'll get there when we get there.
I will trust you on that one. So,
yep, I can confidently say that. Is it Spider-Man 1 to 2 difference? I don't know, but it is night and day between it. Arkham City is what I think you would want Arkham Asylum more to be.
Okay.
So I do think so.
We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. So, Batman is done. We'll see you all in Life is Strange. Got any final words to say, Danger?
Life is chaotic. It's not strange. It's chaotic and unpredictable.
Well, life is definitely strange.
We're aware. Life is strange. It is definitely strange. And so we'll see if life is okay enough for us to be around for that.
So, my final word is bring back the hint lines.
Batman.
Thanks all for watching. Stay tuned for Life is Strange, our next one. Let's sign off for the night.
And Batman.
Say bye, Danger.
Goodbye, Gotham.
Bye, everybody.